This is the How Is He podcast, a deep dive into Carlo soccer with Podge and Poppa, proudly sponsored by Curra Sports. Let's kick it off.
Welcome to episode 56 of the How Is He podcast, joined as always by my co-host Paul Poppa Doyle here in Ampifi Studios. Poppa, right in the heart of Carlow Town.
Class, yeah.
This week we look at the latest results, fixtures, and we have a guest, one of the greats in both junior soccer and League of Ireland soccer. A very modest man, but he has that many winners' medals, he'd make a fortune in cash for gold.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. He played for Freebooters for 18 years, picking up 8 leagues, 5 McCalmont Cups, 5 Shields, 3 Leinsters. Also in that time picking up 2 Oscar Traynors trophies and represented the Irish junior side on 2 occasions also. He then moved to Wexford Youths at 33, where he was captain and played 151 League of Ireland games in a row. Absolutely
That's
outrageous.
record, is it?
Currently coaching with nearly every team in Kilkenny, including CK. Absolutely delighted to have him on. The most famous Doyle from Kilkenny, Mr. Graham Doyle. Graham, how are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Good.
It's a real pleasure. You're also on the Kilkenny podcast as well. I want to add that in. A new addition to it. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It took me a while now, I have to say, to get used to it, especially when you're sitting in there and, you know, doing
It takes a good few episodes, like.
Yeah, it takes a good few episodes. And then the problem is I forget what I'm thinking about and things just come out. Yeah. But no, it is. I'm enjoying it, I have to say.
Well, there's no filter here, bud. You can say what you want.
Say what you like. Yeah. Will not be edited.
You weren't out with, go through results, Pop. You weren't out the weekend, were you?
No, again, we're waiting on the
Evergreen big win the weekend?
Yeah, big win. And they have the winners of Newark and Tala.
Yeah,
that's on this Saturday. Yeah.
That's this Saturday, yeah. No, Evergreen are going well. They're a good
I
side.
think it's 5 o'clock Saturday in Tala, and then early show.
Some finish for a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, but to be fair, Mikey and David Grinsell, like, if you have to do with them and they give them that much time.
It was late, wasn't it?
Very 91st.
91st, yeah.
Oh yeah, but I heard they battered them now.
They battered them.
That's
but
what I was told now.
They've done that. They did it to in the previous round as well. Who were they playing the previous round? They done the same. They didn't win 3 or 4-0.
That was
but
extra
they battered
time.
them. Yeah. Dublin crowd again.
Wasn't Luke and all, wasn't it?
No,
They were a bit
it'll come to me. But they done the same thing. The game should have been outside, but they have quality right the way up.
Yeah, they're very good.
Right the way up now.
Just not taking chances, missing chances.
Yeah, and it's not like them, especially when you have the likes of Mikey and Grayson comes off the bench and you have Andrew Wall, and you know they're a really good side, like, but they're real solid at the back.
They're due one though, really, aren't they? As a club, like
they are. Look, and being a Freebooters lad, you'd be saying when we were playing, you'd be like, oh no, God, I hope they don't. But now you'd be saying,
would you like to see them on?
Yeah, it wouldn't cost me a thought at all. Like I have 2 nephews out there.
Go ahead.
You know, if Andrew Wall is playing and Craig Wall is one of the coaches.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, it wouldn't.
But they're representing Kilkenny soccer at the end of the day. So
and I would have played with a good few of them, like David Grinsell. I had Grinsell at Booters when I was there for a year, and you know, so no, I wouldn't have much. Now, it'd be interesting final if Newark get there.
Be great final.
Yeah.
Be super final, yeah.
Be a super final.
I think Newark fancied their chances this week. It'll be favourites going into the game, I'd say, even though they're away.
I hope to do, because that group's due one as well, lads,
they
I'm going
are.
to be honest.
I'd love to see Dean Kelly and Mikey Drennan.
On the same pitch.
Yeah. Be an interesting to see
Mikey
who
learned
gets
from his experience, because he was on the podcast here and he said he got
waterboarded.
Remember the water before the ball?
FAI.
The centre back for Sheriff squirted him and got into his head sort of. So he's going to learn from that as well. And he was brilliant on this.
Then, he's look, Mikey's a different
player.
He's a different animal altogether. Like,
be a great final. I hope Newark get through. Jesus,
it'd be interesting to see where
it'll be now. I don't know
if they do. If it is a Newark Evergreen final.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus, where would you put that?
Yeah, be interesting.
Surely you'd put it in Dean Celtic's pitch, maybe, Prince.
Kilkenny, we played a final in Kilkenny. Evergreen played a final in Kilkenny. I wonder would it be like?
Did you win one of those in Kilkenny?
Yeah.
Is that where that was?
And we played at home.
You won on penalties. The last one you won on penalties.
Cherry Orchard.
That was that, sure. Yeah.
In Freebooters pitch?
No, in Buckley Park.
Oh, in Buckley
So
Park.
it'd be a
sorry.
neutral. So
neutral,
like,
but
if it was in
Kilkenny.
Carlow for Newark, whether it be in
Pats or
Collision or somewhere.
I'd bring a grass pitch. I'd go to the Prince.
Ideally, I'd want a grass pitch. No, if it was in Cormer, unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable surface. And
have they Astro now as well there?
They have
small.
They have a 3/4.
They play it on grass. They wanted
they played on grass. No,
the
grass pitch is unbelievable.
You could bring
the
it
perfect place for a final.
Did you ever play in Castlenorman, Castlevillas pitch?
Yeah. We played our first Leinster semi-final. We won out in Castlenorman's pitch. the first time we ever won it. Yeah.
They say you can name stadiums as well, is there?
Yeah.
Won this one here, won that one there, won this one here. Sat nav over there, look.
We haven't got many results, Poppa. The ladies in the semi, look at him throwing things around the place and everything. Will you relax, will you?
Settle down here.
Ladies Carlow Cup semi-final stage. This is Pop.
Right.
Mill Celtic 2, New Park 0, Critty Yard 0, Vale Wanderers 4. I think Mill Celtic are league champions going into that. Against
Vale runners up, were they?
Yeah, but Vale won the Kilkenny League last year. And they got bet in the Leinster final as well. That'd be a good game. We bet Vale Wanderers 4-2.
Extra time.
Extra time. Scored really late on. Vale defended extremely well. Probably had a great chance to hit the post at 1-0.
They were leading.
They were leading from us. They scored just before the first half finished. But look, we showed great character and we scored. And once we got the goal, then looking at it, there's only one team kind of, one of them ones.
Yeah.
We brought Joe Sutherland off the bench, comes on, gets a hat trick. Like,
wow.
So.
Good man, Joe.
Semi final that now. I think it's the winners of Collection and No Walk we play. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, Pop. That's all you bring to this.
No. I can tell you the other semi-final if you want to know.
Go on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I know. Hartfield against Burn, I think it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Leinster Rovers in the Division 1 quarter final, 3-2 to St. Felix. And in this is the last one. We'll do the stop talking, Podge, will you lunatic. In the Division 3 Cup final, Nerney Villa 3, Burn Celtic beat 2. Congratulations to Nerney. In the Girls 18s Cup final, Ballymurphy 1, Vale Wonder 3. That was Wednesday night. Congratulations to them. And then we went down to Kilree and Bagnastone. Poppa, talk to me. What do you think of that?
Was poor from Bagnastone had a game over after half an hour. I think it was 3-0. Or was it 3-0? No, 2-1.
I think we got in, it was 1-0 to Bagnastone, was it?
Yeah, and then they scored second goal. Actually, they scored from a corner and then a 2-1. But Bagnastone were always in control. Kilree and Danny up top was excellent. He held the ball up, but they're running. Number 7, I think his name was Young Wall.
Yeah, good player.
He ran off me. He ended up getting a second yellow card in the end. He was sent off, but his running off the ball for Danny was fantastic.
Yeah.
Andrew Kane was marshalling the back line, and their goalkeeper made 2 brilliant saves.
I thought Keane Doyle was outstanding.
Oster's technically excellent, and he made his free kick. The second goal was brilliant. The third goal was a free kick, I think. He got a hat-trick on the night, I think. Yeah, he was excellent. I didn't see the first goal, but deserved winners.
And they stay up?
They stay up now, yeah. Kilree needed a result there, but unfortunately not. So Kilree are down.
And then we played No Walk the same night, which was an absolute dead rubber. I watched the game back.
1-1.
It was a dead rubber. It was not.
Was it?
It was just one of them.
Eyeing each other up,
I don't know. Maybe so. And that's it. No. Graham, we do have questions for you.
Let's go.
Don't be nervous. Only joking.
It's too late for that.
I didn't. I'd always prep the guests in questions, right? And I'd always send you the intro. But I heard you say something a while back, and it kind of set me back a little bit. Where you were the captain of Wexford, right?
Yeah.
And every time you went into a new season, you wanted to give back the captaincy.
Yeah.
What? Talk to me about that. I just couldn't get my head around that.
Was never comfortable. Never comfortable being a captain. I only captained Freebooters once as well. Never comfortable being a captain. And in Wexford at the time, Danny Furlong would have been the captain. And Danny left. This was very early on in Shane Keegan's tenure, I suppose. And I think he kind of gave it to me because I was older than everyone. Like the squad was very young. And it was kind of, look, just do it till the end of the year. Which, look, you take it and kind of... But then he never took it back, and I did not like...
And did you say to him? I don't want it.
The whole time. Even when we got to the Premier, I just didn't want to be captain. Like, yes, not the difference, but when you're doing the League of Ireland, you have to write in the programme and you're talking, and I always think outfielders are better captains anyway because they can affect... If you go 1-0 behind as a goalkeeper, you're keeping the team in it. You can't affect the other end of the pitch.
It's a big shout, yeah.
Whereas if you have a midfielder, they can either raise their game or lads around them, So, never... I hated it.
Did you?
And is the uncomfortability, is that a word? I think it is.
Jesus Christ.
I know, yeah. Dictionary for me tea, bud. Does that come from like a place where you're like, it's a social thing where you're just like, I just want to go be me. Let me be me. I don't want to forward notes in the programme. I don't want to go to media. I just want to be me. Like,
yeah, look, I suppose probably I wouldn't be the how would you put it? I wouldn't be the most sociable person. I'd have a really small group of friends, like me count them on one hand who I'd consider. You'd have loads of acquaintances. Through football, you meet loads of people, but I'd never felt comfortable being captain. That's probably why I never went League of Ireland before that age. When I got to that age, it was kind of like, yeah, sure, look, we'll give it a.
But you wouldn't disregard responsibility, though, right?
No. When I was there, you were doing it, and for that season or for that 90 minutes or everything, no. Like, I hate losing. I would hate standards dropping.
Yeah.
But I would have been like that regardless of whether I was
captain or not.
Did
you find yourself speaking differently?
No,
because you were captain of the team?
Not in the dressing room.
Not in the dressing room or not on the pitch?
Outside. No, I would never pass someone anyway, even if it was anyone that was involved in the club. Everyone's down there doing for free, basically.
Yeah, of course,
everyone is a volunteer. So you'd never ever go around thinking, oh, we're players, and you treat everyone. But I would do that anyway. It was all the outside stuff.
Right.
And now we were with Wexford. It's not like we were with Shamrock Rovers and you were...
but still.
But even... just even playing wise, I was never have been. There was I'm getting ahead of myself now, but I would never have went to Wexford. Only the brothers finished up in the local club.
Yeah.
I would have stayed there for
never moved,
and it kind of just steamrolled from there. You know, but like,
did you have offers before?
Yeah, like I was lucky enough. I worked, so I was an electrician by trade. So I worked with Davy Mulcahy, who was playing League of Ireland for years.
Yeah,
so. Like I had offers from Bray when I was younger, and Davy was playing with Bray at the time, and obviously Kilkenny City, but never had
no interest.
The time with Bray, I would make up every excuse to not go. Like, I can't afford it, and I can't do this. And Eddie Gormley would have been the manager at the time, and I did everything in my power to avoid it.
Wow.
So
was that a Booters thing? Or was
that would have been just being uncomfortable. Even going to the Amateur League of Ireland stuff and all. Now this sounds like everything was a dark cloud. It wasn't. Like, you just get comfortable in your skin, and
I get.
You're kind of thinking, if I go there, and I didn't enjoy.
You're a very rare person to be like that, because if other people has your ability,
I didn't enjoy the amateur experience either. The amateur, the Irish.
I've heard you say that before as well.
I didn't enjoy that at all.
Did you not?
No, and I ended up. So I got 2 official caps. But we played, like, we would have played the Irish under-21s, and we played the Irish universities, and you would have trained in blocks, kind of coming to tournaments. You would have been up there every Saturday. And in the end, I was only going because I felt if I didn't go, you'd be letting down the brothers or the club. Or, you'd be kind of getting up on a Saturday morning to go train and going, oh my God. What? And when you get there, the country lads, the St. Michael's lads, brilliant. Unbelievable. Chalky calf. You couldn't.
Some player, Graham, only chalky.
Unbelievable. But the Dubs, different. Not that they'd ever done anything wrong. No one ever done it wrong.
Just themselves, and that's it.
Just themselves. And I would be literally sitting in the corner. Go in, sit there, dog out, go out, train, come back in, get changed and go home. So you'll never do well up there at that level if you're not able to.
Yeah.
It's arrogance, is it?
Yeah, you have to have that bit of a swagger. I had it when I was playing with Booters because I was comfortable.
That's your comfortable.
You're in there, you're comfortable, but going out of it, it's not. Because people will always say, oh, why didn't that young lad succeed there? There's an awful lot to...
It's not just his ability, right?
No, there's an awful lot around it. You have to be comfortable. That has to go well for you to do it,
But do you know what is about the comfortable things? And we're jumping ahead because we've lots of questions, but anyway, we'll get to them. But do you know what I spot straight away? Even though you're comfortable, you're still driving standards to an elite level. Like I know you were in that spell with Booters where you had 3 Leinster juniors, and I would have seen you been involved in Pat's playing and all that crack. Like, you were elite level of, say, how you approach the whole thing. So it's not as if you weren't uncomfortable with being, top brass. Like, do you know what I mean?
We would have, like, with that Booters team at the time, that would have been the standard as such. We would have pushed, but even things like that, like when I was a young lad, we'd be playing and I was listening to Gavin. I listened to a couple of podcasts with Gavin, and Gavin was talking about the gloves and stuff. I would buy gloves at the time which were £80.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have a good game, I'd just throw them in the bin.
Go away.
And on to the next week, I'd have to get another pair. And
Would you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Like, just in my head,
Didn't work for me.
that didn't work for me. It's gone. Never do them again.
Really?
Bad
Yeah.
memories in them gloves. They're
Gone.
gone.
That's it. Gone. And these are all little things that you kind of, I don't know what you call them, idiosyncrasies or whatever. They're just little things that get you through the game or through the season. And the higher you go, the more variables there is that you can't control.
Fuck.
I know that sounds mad.
No,
I wouldn't
but
say
in
you
my
thrown out 20
head-
pairs of gloves, did you?
yeah.
I wouldn't say you thrown out 20 pairs of gloves.
I was, well, when I went to League World, I got sponsored, so I didn't mind.
yeah.
But before that, I would, you'd even though, I mean,
Yeah.
if we won 5-1 and I conceded a bad goal, they'd go like, yeah, that'd be gone like.
Is
you
that
know?
does that supersede like superstition?
Yeah, whether that's just me being me, I suppose, or that's what I needed to do to
Right.
cleanse the mind.
yeah, and get
So we
myself
can go
going.
again.
Like, yeah, you know, and the lads would have been, the two brothers would have been driving that level in the club
Absolutely.
at the time.
Yeah.
You know, so we had a really good run of. Oh look, I was there for 18 years, so we had a really good run for 18 years. You didn't win something every year, but you were always pushing or thought you should have done more, or you know, and then it just went. But
How's the family dynamics at Christmas and that? And then when you're involved, how long were we together? About was it 3?
oh well, like Sean was playing still when I
Yeah.
started.
Okay. Oh, was he?
Yeah, and David would have been playing with the
B
second team. Yeah, and but he'll tell you he played one game with the A team against the Oscar Traynors and he scored a hat trick.
Oh, no
in
way.
a friendly. Yeah, so I said
Sorry,
I'd get
David,
to
take
India.
all back.
But he we would have always been involved. I had another brother, Andrew, who would have been involved as well.
Okay.
And my father would have been one of the members that got it back going when it had folded. And so we were together all the way through it. Like, you know, there was always one of us. I think I went through 2 seasons in total without one of them involved in the A team with us.
Wow.
You know, and like, yeah, I signed from when I was 15, just going on 16, yeah.
And what's the do you get on off at the time?
Yeah,
saying,
I'd just tell him the club never won anything till I signed, and haven't won anything since I left. So that keeps him quiet. You know, but no, we would get on like my second brother David. He would have been the one when I was younger. Would have always had you out playing soccer.
yeah.
Right.
You know, always.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a goalkeeper. I was a Liverpool fan, so John Barnes I thought I was, but I just can't play outfield. So, but no, we'd get on. Yeah, no, we'd never, no hassles whatsoever, ever. I don't drink, so
Never drink.
yeah, I can just walk away from the boy Sean when he has a couple of bites. Yeah, no, never drink. No.
Speaking of goalkeepers, what's the decision to become one? Because I don't think. Sorry, no, the questions are triple barreled.
No.
But I don't think you can go, because no one wants to go be a goalkeeper, or it's extremely rare, right?
Yeah.
So what moment are you saying, might get a pair of gloves here?
Well, I was put in the goal at training one evening because it was no good outfield.
No way.
And that's the truth. I with St. Canis's would have been, the Freebooters didn't have schoolboys teams when I started.
Yeah.
So St. Canis's would have been, it's only down the road. So when training with lads out of school, come on down and train, and you were just putting the goal, and I did okay. And that was under 9s, but there were big goals back then. There was no small goals or anything like that, you know. So, and that was it. There was no, I didn't want to be, you know, I said John Barnes was I loved him.
Yeah.
But you were just putting goal from under 9s, and that was it, yeah. We would have played against New Oak a good bit. New Oak's really good team would have been the age under us. Gavin and all,
Gavin
or a
and all,
year or
yeah.
two under us.
Anto, Davy Walker, all the boys.
all those, and Eddie McGarry.
Yeah.
You know, but they would have played up above their age groups as well, like, you know. So, but yeah, no, I never couldn't say I wanted to be a goalkeeper. But when you get in there, I do think if there's a young lad and he gets in there and he gets a kind of a natural buzz out of stopping a shot, it's a hard thing to find as a young lad that gets a buzz, because it's it's a very solitary position on a pitch, like.
For sure.
Just
You know,
crucial.
if something goes wrong, it's a goal.
But it's clearly a part of the mindset as well, like as you've just described there. Like, you kind of enjoy the isolation almost.
Yeah, well, I do and I don't. I do when I'm in a comfortable zone.
Yeah.
You know, like even, I know I'm jumping again, but when I was at Wexford, it was all people that I knew, like Roxy Keenan and and Shane, and you know, so you get into a comfortable. But as I said, when I went up with the Irish team, I hated it, and there's no difference to goal. The goals are the same size, pitch is the same size. You know, it is a tough place to play, and it's a hard thing to find. There's not you can't just go out and say, right, I'm going to get him to play on goal. I'm going to get him to play on goal. It's not a simple thing to. And I wouldn't have got coached until I went with the Irish Amateurs. That was the first actual training session.
So what would you just to join in as normal?
Would just be throwing cones down the ground and just dive for 20 minutes before training.
Warm yourself up a different way to the outfield players.
Yeah. And then in fairness to the boys, all our training sessions would have been games. Everything was football based, and you're always doing more running than you think in it. But everything was game based. Right. And we always had 2 goalkeepers. You know, sometimes you struggle for a second goalkeeper, but we always had 2 goalkeepers. So all our training sessions were you were doing all the goalkeeper stuff without actually being coached, we'll say, like, you know,
position specific, like,
yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know how you decide to become or why you decide to be a goalkeeper.
Were you big as a young lad?
No, the laugh. My mother used to tell me that the family doctor would always say to her, "Look, he'll be 6 foot. Don't worry about him," because I was always small till I got to about 6th class. Then I got a bit of a.
Oh, you're 6'1", 6'2".
6'2", yeah. It's getting shorter as I get older and a little bit wider. But no, I wouldn't have been a huge when my first game with Booters, the goalkeeper never turned up. And they were playing Evergreen in a Shield semi-final or quarter-final.
Go away.
I was just going down to town to meet the missus, who I'm still with now, and they called and just said they actually had to go in and ask my mother, could I play
playing with the first team? At 16, were you?
I was only just gone 16.
Wow.
So,
and the game was a lot more physical then, right?
Yeah. But to be fair to him, we had 2 centre halves back at the time. Decky Lawler, he actually managed the Oscar Traynor team that we would have won one of the Oscar Traynors. And Johnny Delaney was his name at the time. And they had promised my mother to say, look, we'll look after him. So for my first 2 seasons kind of with the team, they would just say, especially going to different places, you'd know who you're playing. They'd say, look, Graham, corners and all, just if they shoot or they get shot and target, you deal with that. We'll look after everything else. And to be fair, they did. It was very rare and happened. Yeah.
Nice for you though. It's a comfort zone for you to have them in front of you.
Brilliant. Well. Now, as you get a bit more comfortable and a bit more braver, you start to...
Yeah.
And then you realise you do need the protection because, you know, back then it was... Not that it's tougher, but...
But I think as a chap that age, a teenager, right, your solace comes from their words. Yeah. Because if they didn't say anything to you, you'd have been like, oh, lads. But the fact that you had 2 men saying, hey, you'll be fine, we'll look after you.
Yeah, and there was no, like, they did, and the back four, it was a man's team. You know, what, like, they'd like playing their soccer, they'd have a few points. But when the game was on, there was no quarter given, like, and they looked after it. To be fair, I never got hurt playing or... You know, not that lads would be trying to do it, but when you see a young lad in goal, you test them and you know, see how he...
When you're swinging the ball in from a corner, right? Put in the goalkeeper's only a chap.
Put in on top of him.
This kind of thing, you know, put in a big centre back.
Hang that.
Hang that, let him comfort, whatever you're going to do.
We'll see how he... You know, and look, it worked out all right.
Just all right?
Yeah.
There's more medals than Douglas Jewellers down there.
More medals than Albert from Only Fools and Horses. Honest to God. Talk to me about how you handle mistakes as a goalkeeper.
Well, like
you've
just told us about the gloves.
He throws away the gloves anyway.
but even with like a lot of the older players in Kilkenny, I tell you, when I started and I was younger, even if I made a mistake in a kick, I'd roar like, "Oh Jesus, Graham!" And you know, the other team would be having a bit of a laugh at you, like. But you just try and compartmentalise it. It's not easy to do, like, and I think a lot of the problem with kids football now is, like, you remember when you were school-based playing, if there was 20 people at the game, there was a big crowd. Now every parent is at it, aunties, grandmothers. There could be 60 people at an under-9 game, and you're always going to make mistakes, always, especially as kids. You're always going to concede goals.
80 to 100 at a standard game now, I'd say.
Yeah, between, you know, I haven't played in cup finals, and you'd be lucky if there was 100 people at it. You know,
it's nuts.
And now, so, like, handling mistakes, look, what they'll tell you is the big thing is, you know, just put it off. It's not easy. What I would try and do is just the next ball, even if it was a simple back pass. And when I started, you could pick up the back pass.
I'll go.
So, just work on the next play as best you can.
Phase.
And just please God, you don't make an absolute arse of it.
Did you wish for the mistake that you made? Did you want a similar kind of phase of play to come in?
No, I just
let me
wanted
deal with this again.
a little bouncy ball over the top, come out, get your hands on it, and then you're just work on, like, you know.
Bouncy ball is to the left or to the right of the goal.
Way out from the goal. Like, you know. And
Yeah.
I've made horrible mistakes. Like that first season we played in Bagnallstown and Patty O'Neill
great
would have
player.
been playing up front, and all the Gagans would have been playing.
Yeah.
Packy and,
Tough team, and really, really good side. And it was 0-0, and he had a shot, and I done everything to get down to it, straight through my legs, lost 1-0. You know, and I know the lads would pick you up and say, "Come on, you're grand," but in their head they're going, "Oh, jeez, what are you after doing?"
Yeah.
You know,
But especially when you're thinking that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about the goalkeeping. Like it's a tough place, because after that you're praying to God the centre forward gets his head on something, or
Helps you out here.
someone helps me out there, because, you know.
Yeah.
But you do need a thick skin. You do have to, and as you get older, it gets a bit easier. The skin gets a bit thicker, and you can you make less mistakes. But if you don't make them mistakes,
But
you're never going to get.
It's a position that you can also be a soothing effect on the team.
Yeah.
Like your composure will go through a team if you're in control of your situation.
Yeah.
Like you see many games Gavin played, and it's just like ball comes down, and you can see how Gavin, when he was coaching the kids, even with the Oscar Traynors, the academies at the time, for winning the game, if you get it into your chest, down knees, slow it down. Like without them words, doing it to get it in his hands, and he go kick it back down the field straight away.
I would say the
it's
same.
just-
to him,
it's
just even count to 6 in
something,
your head.
yeah, whatever, yeah.
And then it just gives
Tips
that
you
bit
get from,
of a,
yeah.
I know I'm jumping again, but just with Gavin, like, when I was at Wexford, things wouldn't have went as well for me in Wexford without Gavin. Like, we were getting goalkeeping coaches in and out, and Gavin came in for 3-4 years. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. He was always there. The coach, and the good thing about it, you'd come out onto the pitch and everything was there set up. You go up, do your session, and in the end, you're talking kind of like the second keepers now. We were just going, why is he not just sign, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Gavin was excellent, but that time at Wexford without Gavin wouldn't have went as well if he hadn't have come down.
Well, he's a student of the game in regards of he loves the game firstly, and the way he sets up a drill for you is the way he'd want to be treated if he was being
but even
coached as well.
When you were playing in big games, and it wouldn't make a difference. He made every game feel the same. So even if it was a really big game, you go out and do the warm-up. Once you did the warm-up with Gavin, you were like, I'm
okay now, yeah.
And that's what I mean, again, going back to the whole things, ducks in a row. Like, when I knew Gavin was there, I was like,
you'd be looking for him if he wasn't there.
If he wasn't there, my head would be melted.
Yeah.
I'd be sick. You know, even at training, if there was a night, very rare that he wouldn't make it. But if once I knew Gavin was there, it seems to be good.
He's a super goalkeeper too, isn't he?
Brilliant. I remember him playing with Pats when they came into Kilkenny. Excellent, like, really good.
Do you know what it is? You're a third keeper we've had on that will play at a high level, right? Gav, yourself, and David Ford, right? And the one underlying thing for me is you're all big creatures of habits. Like, they don't like. You just said it. I go train and Gavin's not there. Yeah. Like, they're all like, even, and if you think about the technical side of goalkeeping, everything you do from catching the ball to kicking the ball is habits.
Yeah, it's repetition. Like,
100%.
It's not. There is no off the cuff. I know you can make that reaction save and all, but you've prepped for that reaction save a million times in training.
Yeah.
It's not like a centre forward and or a winger, they can do something out of the blue. You try and keep all that to the minimum as a goalkeeper. Well, I think you do anyway. You try and everything as simple, and as, if you do the simple stuff, all that fancy stuff looks after it's safe, you know. But if your team is confident that you will take that cross or they can play the ball back to you, it makes the whole game. I tell
you what a good one. I was talking to a friend of mine in work today. He's actually a Falsey. He'd be a cousin of the great Michael Falsey.
Oh, right, okay, very good.
And I said to him, "You have Graham Doyle on tonight?" He says, "No way." I said, "What? Tell me what you know about Graham." He said, "He's the best goalkeeper I've ever seen to dive and catch a ball." Do you know?
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
That's
something you don't think about. But when you see keepers, it's very rare a keeper dives and nearly holds it.
Yeah, well, I would, with the young lads now in training, and that's what you would try and do. If you can do that in training all the time, it's almost becomes, it's not second nature, but it's natural in a game that a lad will have a shot and it's repetition. You're diving and try and hold it. It's only when you have to push it, you know, it's you have no choice, like, you know.
Yeah.
But again, it's the same thing as you were saying with Gavin, with the kids. If you're playing the game and that happens, it reassures the team, but also the centre forward is going, oh man, he held it. How did he hold that? Like,
Yeah.
I give that everything.
you know, and then you're thinking, what do I do the next time? Do I have to do this, or am I?
Well, he's changing his game. You're not.
Yeah, no. The whole thing about it is just, well, in my head anyway, it's just repetition.
Did it ever go past the point of non-enjoyment for you?
Probably the only time I really didn't enjoy it was probably the last season or so with Booters. Not including the Irish stuff. I just didn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
That was but at that, even in that time period, I was enjoying the football with Booters. The last season, like, the boys would have been trying to go through, I don't know, it could have been their 5th cycle of a team.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
Oh, so hard.
It's so hard to do. And Kilkenny is not like, it's not like Dublin where there's mountains of players that you can, you know. So they were probably going through that, and you could see it in the club. They needed a change. The club needed a change. But there was a big, will the club move them on? Will the lads give it up? I think the boys, if they had stayed, they would have got that next cycle of a team.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it was fully in them, you know, which is, it's not an easy thing to admit, or it's not.
Booters are big, like.
Huge
you know, club, like.
Yeah, and look, they're going through a tough period. Like, it's a long time since they won the league. You know,
I don't think transition is the right word either, right?
No, it's a slump. It's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
And look, it is hard to take. The thing the kind of solace I got out of it, I went away for a good while, so you're kind of looking at it from a different point of view. You weren't in the middle of it, like, you know.
Do you go watch them every weekend?
I would watch them. I've never watched them play Evergreen.
What?
Never seen them play Evergreen.
What's the reason behind that?
I don't think I could watch them. I don't think they're good enough to compete with them.
So you don't. You're afraid of them getting hockeyed?
No, because they never get hockeyed.
Tight game,
we
right.
would have been so competitive with Evergreen. And we wouldn't have been as successful in that period without that Evergreen team. Like, you had the Welsh's, Billy, unbelievable.
They bring you on,
team.
don't they?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I find myself getting frustrated looking at the team.
Not in regards to mistakes they're making.
Just the level is not what it should be.
Right.
Would it upset you?
Yeah, I would. It would. Yeah, I wouldn't go watch them. Like, I'd watch them against, if they were playing a Leinster junior game,
an outside game. Yeah.
I would find myself going to watch the youths team more often than I would the. Now look, we didn't part ways brilliantly when I left originally.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, because I never got asked to stay. I never got asked to come back, or, you know, I never got a phone call, never got a best of luck, anything. So I would find it hard to
immerse yourself in it again.
Yeah, and I find that the level has, to what it was at, the level has come down. And
scarred you a bit, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, to be honest. Off the field, everything has gone up. Off the field, the setup, everything is fabulous, unbelievable. It's a million times better setup than we had. But on the pitch, it's
not as good as what you were.
Yeah. And I would find that hard to watch.
That's a crazy fact when you say, like, it's a better facility with a worse team.
Yeah.
So this application of players is not good.
And I managed it for a year.
Right.
And I didn't want to do it. When I came back from
for a year.
Yeah, when I came back from Wexford, I wanted to do the second team. So went in, started with the second team, kind of getting it ready for pre-season. All young lads, didn't have any interest in doing the A team, or, you know, because I'd never managed a team before on my own. And it was kind of put to me that if I sign any players, the A team will have first choice, which is right, you know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, why don't you go in with the lads that are doing the A team? And so I did. And in hindsight,
you didn't want it.
I didn't. Look, I'm not a manager anyway. I wouldn't have mind coaching with younger lads, but when you're looking to win things and all, it's not. I'd be too.
Well, that's why you need a team, though, Graham. That's why you need a very strong management team.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have, like, doing the goalkeeping coaching for someone, all no hassle. But I wouldn't have the mindset to manage a team because, again, I'm looking at standards that we had, and they're just not the same. And I wouldn't have the.
Well, are you saying that you wouldn't know how to apply them standards? Like, implement them.
People think because you play at a high level, you can just go in and manage a team.
Yeah.
But you can't.
No.
Like,
do you read that, Pop?
100%, yeah. It's a certain attribute someone has.
Yeah.
It comes back to this, we've said it many times. A good manager might be a bad coach, and a great coach might be a bad manager. It's totally different. Like,
yeah, like
there's cogs in my machine that I'd have that you wouldn't have.
I'd have no qualms of saying like I'm not a good manager. I wouldn't have. The coaching, I love the goalkeeping coaching. I love it because I just do the goalkeepers. They go off with their team. Hopefully they win. But if they perform well, I have a good job done. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But actually going in and managing a team is not a simple.
It's a very difficult task. Even at junior level, no. It's a big ask, lads.
Oh, I think at junior level it's
getting harder.
It's horrendous. Like,
it's a massive ask.
You need a team of 4 or 5 lads with
easily.
You.
There's so much going on with, and even without getting too deep, society, young lads is all changed. Like, it's a total different generation, era, whatever you want to call it.
What are the big differences in society, do you think, between, say, your era and current era?
Well, if you're talking just in general, as in all the way up from under 9s and 10s, and it's the American parent factor, I think is the worst thing to ever happen to
That's brilliant description.
Soccer. It is though, isn't it? It's that soccer mom and soccer dad, and they're on the sideline, and
long jackets, white runners, coffee in their hand.
You know, like, and I know stuff has changed. You can't just leave your kids, but like that puts so much pressure on everyone. You know, even a coach that could be his first team might never have done it before, and a lot of lads are kind of pushed into it.
Yeah.
You know, they're just, will you do that? Oh, look, go on, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
And then it's, why isn't little Mikey, or why is he not playing as much as, you know, and it's
we said it many times.
But that question wasn't asked 25 years ago.
No, never asked.
No.
Like, I was a sub my whole life, and I'd never asked the manager, am I going on?
Yeah, no.
And my mother definitely never go, do you know what I mean?
You throw the eyes though, wouldn't you, Podge?
No, I wouldn't. What do you mean throw the eyes?
I'm going to get around here.
The old shifties. I never, because I just love being with my friends and love playing. No, I did play. I'm not saying I never played, right? But I'd never get the hump because I wasn't playing. I'd never go to the manager and say, what's the story here?
No. Like when I played with Canis's, and it would be probably a 10-minute walk from my house. Saturday morning, we used to go out and we'd go to the manager, Shamey Phelan was his name, and the whole team would go to his house, kind of, and you'd watch Football Focus. Yeah. Right? And the game mightn't be till 2 o'clock. But his missus would bring out toast, and there could be 8 lads in his front room, you know, and then we'd go down to the pitch, you'd play the game, you'd go home, and once you came in the door, it was like, oh, he's alive, he's back. You know? Wow. It didn't matter whether you won 20-0 or, you know, like my house is across the road from Fair Green.
Yeah.
My mother only saw me play once, and that was with Wexford. Wouldn't come across the road, couldn't watch the game. My father would watch the kick-off and maybe a couple of minutes, and then he'd just
float around it.
He'd have a fag and he'd walk around in circles, and you know. So now there's just everyone, like the grandparents, and I know that's not
No, you're extremely accurate in societal change.
It is, yeah.
Because, and I tell you why, like, Tom, let's go fucking deep, right? Let's get that shovel going, three of us, let's go dig. But see, you mentioned your mother, the matriarch, right? She's bigger things to do than home, to go and watch them playing football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that even has domino effect the fact that I have to do dinner. I have a ham on the boil here.
There was 8 of us in it as well,
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nowadays it's not. No, it's over, guys. We'll all get mochas on the way home. We'll be fine.
It is, and also I know
mochas.
We didn't even know what that was.
Be honest to God.
And if
just drain me tea bags on the line.
Just squeeze them twice in one tea bag.
But everyone, I know you're not allowed to say it now, and everyone gets participation. Everyone gets a medal for everything.
Do you think that was that was in my mind? Do you think that was a step back when you had to give the game time thing?
To a point. I think after under 12s, 13s, like a 12-year-old knows, they know whether they're getting game time because they're good enough or they're just getting game time. It's hard to talk about in Kilkenny because in Kilkenny, schoolboys, there's such a, what would you say, like Booters and Evergreen would have huge schoolboys.
Monopoly of it.
Yeah. And for years people would come in, and because of the setup, now it's more than ever. Like Evergreen must have they must have close to 1,000.
I got the figure, yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And booters now are not as high, but they're not far off. And my fear with it sometimes is that it becomes kind of not about money, but we'll just keep taking people in, and it pays the bills and it does this, and the first 2 teams are looked after, but when you drift down to the 3rd or 4th team,
They're not.
they're not. The coaching is not as, and that's where you get the poor fella that's just put in charge of the team because he brings his son. He might only want to get out in the fresh air, and he mightn't even look at the game. But now he's a manager. He gets a jacket, and then all the parents are.
So you're actually diluting the whole thing.
Yeah,
You're diluting the club, aren't you?
And look, it's not. It's easy for me to say that. How do you turn away all these kids?
No, there's definitely space for football for all.
It's not easy, but there's sometimes like you 12, 13, 14 years of age, as a coach, you'd love to say to the kid, there's other sports out there, son.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're just not.
Yeah, but see, this is society as well, though, Poppa.
You can't say it.
You can't tell a 14-year-old that because that has serious implications.
Yeah, and
that's, you know.
I mean, you're like.
I understand that, but you have to be truthful as well.
But that's actually part of the problem.
Well, the killer thing is.
It's a way of explaining it, though, Podge.
A lot of the 14-year-olds, they know it.
Of course, they know it, but
the
you can't tell them.
Knows. It's the parents too, and I would find that extremely difficult. That's why again I keep going back to the goalkeeping coach, and it's.
Let me stay on my
bread and butter stuff, and simple. You're not involved with teams.
The best way I always found dealing with that is if a parent come to me and they ask me a question, why is this and why is that? Why isn't he getting on? Hold on for a second. I'm here 2 nights a week, every Saturday, travelling away, bringing kids up and down the country for matches. I don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not listening to this from you.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't think it's really fair. When you put it back on them, the conversation stops.
It is. And now your contact hours are even less.
Yeah.
Some people are only getting an hour.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so many teams, there's so many.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I do a bit with Bridge United and Connor English. He had his summer camps there, and Bridge United out in Gorge Bridge would always been seen as one of the smaller clubs. Always a good club, good solid team, but would have been a smaller. But like he had over 100 kids at the Easter camp.
Easter camp, yeah, seen
all from that area. Like so, even the small clubs
have big numbers.
Yeah, so I'm not saying I know the answer, like, but I do think there is a problem with the parents and then the dilution of so many players.
But there's no formula, Graham. There's no formula to that whole thing. Like what I would say, the best thing, I've said this 10 million times, the best thing a club can do from nursery to maybe 9s or 10s is don't even play a game. Just go play, lads.
Yeah.
Just let them play like you're under the front green.
Yeah.
And then worry about that 11s, 12s, 13s.
That goes out. You see, sometimes now you're looking at and they're trying to play formations and we're playing out from the back and we're and that.
Here's one for you. When is a kid happiest at a game? If they're not involved in half time, kicking
and
around the ball with no rules.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
That's when they're happiest and smiling. And they're like, I'm going to bend this in the top corner. Watch me go around your man.
Yeah.
Like there's no coach on the sideline going, no, pass it to Jimmy. Jimmy will pass it back to you. We'll run in behind. Leave me alone. Let me play.
Look, people say we're like old men here reminiscing and all, but it was, I don't know, it was easier go play because there was, we had the manager and his assistant manager, and
that's exactly what you did. You went and played.
And that
cycle
was
the matches. You weren't dependent on the lift.
And we won, and we got hammered, and we won the cup. We won a bit, but we were all still playing. Like my schoolboys team that I started with, they all played. I'd say 70% of them played with me at Freebooters, like for years.
Brilliant,
You know,
that's very rare now.
That's like if you start under 9s, if that young lad is playing at 16, is an absolute. That's a win, like that's
100%.
Yeah.
But there's a massive. We were talking about this with the lads on the other podcast.
Kilkenny Soccer Podcast. You can advertise, but
it's. But we were talking about it. I don't know what it's like in Carlow, but in Kilkenny after the Kennedy Cup, it's like soccer is almost forgot about till they come out of youths. So like 15s, 16s, they're playing and all, but no one really. Like Evergreen's youth team were in a Leinster quarter final. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know they were in it.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that.
That is just.
Well, so was Hanover's,
Like it's crazy. I find the fall off is huge. Now,
well, it's definitely too big after Kennedy Cup, isn't it? It's like as if.
It's like you get to the Kennedy Cup and then it's like.
I think we kind of bridged that gap a little bit here though. On my time in with the academies with Dakar, like we won we won a 15s B and 2 15s A All-Irelands, I think. And a 16s B or something. So like we did continue on the academies, but I get what you're saying. But I'll give you an example. So Pats won the league, we all know that. The captain of Pats, I would have coached the under 12s, and he's the only one on that group that would have played 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, 17s. No one else. No, we would have had some that would have come in and would have left
in and out.
But he's the only one. So that's and that's one. And he was on an excellent team.
Yeah.
Like it is, I never played Kennedy Cup. I didn't even know what Kennedy Cup was. I didn't play with Kilkenny till the youths team. No, but it didn't affect me. Like I didn't.
Well, if you didn't know about it,
I didn't even have a clue about it.
That's EV.
Yeah, no, but but it's not the end of the world if you don't.
No, it's not. It's
play
fantastic.
No, but it's fantastic to be involved in.
Yeah,
I was only involved in it as a coach. But what a tournament!
Yeah, I've never even been down at it, and the lads were talking about we should go down.
The Kilkenny team this year is brilliant.
Kilkenny team is good. Yeah,
I'm going to try and get down. We'll make it down ourselves for a day, will we?
Yeah, they're a good side.
Yeah, it's a very good side. I heard they're top class now. I did hear that, because remember, even when we had the two boys on here, your brother and Damien, were saying, like, geez, imagine you never thought you'd have a conversation where you think just Kilkenny are your favourites here.
Yeah, they actually have a good. You don't want to be saying it, like,
but
they have a shot at it, like, yeah.
Come here, tell me about the decision to go to Wexford. Is it a call? Did you call them? Who reached out?
No, so look, obviously the boys finished with Booters, so it was kind of like, that's it, we're done anyway. And I was actually going to St. Kevin's in Dublin. Jerry Davis would have been one of the assistants with the amateur team at the time, and I was in my madness in my own head. I was going, if I go up there and play with him and get comfortable, this is my logic again now, but I get comfortable with him and solid.
That hamster's busy up there, isn't he?
He's after falling out of the wheel a few times. But he, in my head, I was like, that'll steady me more into the amateur side.
Yeah.
And we were out in Buckley Park watching, I think it was one of the Kilkenny under 21 teams at the time, and Shane Keegan just rang me. And I was like going, I thought it was someone taking the piss, like.
You didn't know Shane?
No, I never knew Shane. And then I hung up and I said, Sean said, who's that? I said, it was some Shane Keegan. I said, he was looking for me to go play with Wexford. And my nephew Craig was down there at the time. So this will tell you, I rang Craig and asked him, would it be okay with him if I went down to train? Look.
Permission.
And
after the manager ringing him.
Yeah, so I was actually due to play or train with Kevin's on a Wednesday night, and Wexford were playing a friendly in the IT.
Okay.
Against the IT Carlow team.
That was a good Carlow team.
And so I just didn't go to Kevin's. I never, like, this shows my mentality again, like, and how bad I am. I never even rang Jerry, like, I just didn't go, like, And so I went and played that friendly with Wexford and did well, saved a penalty in the game and came off at half time, and I was like, didn't know anyone. And then Roxy Keenan was there. And I asked him, was he signing? And he said, I think so. And I said, right, look, I'll come train. And once he was going, it's like a comfort.
He was
Once he was going, I said, I'll go. And I travelled the country with him. So, I went then and trained. And, And
I was a coach back then and you were a player. The first thing you do is buy a big used teddy bear.
That would have been, you'd be surprised, like, And people that see on the pitch think, oh, this lad is nuts. Like, but
give him t-shirts.
Probably am a bit nuts, like, But, so it kind of took, it wasn't easy, Wexford, because we weren't good at the start. Like, we weren't good at all.
He sold you for a long time, right? You had Graham would have been there with you.
Yeah.
Graham Glennie was
there, yeah. And Graham never got a run without injuries.
Yeah.
And it killed him, because the way Shane played would have suited Graham down to the ground. But the injuries killed him.
I remember seeing he play.
He was as good as finishers.
Or Merview. And Graham was playing that night. He hit the post, he hit the cross. I think he actually bet them 1-0. I can't remember. But he hit everything except the net.
Yeah, Graham was a fine player. And again, he goes back to, he's the type of lad that I like playing with. Like when I was at Booters, would have been with Timmy Clifford. And lads, if you were in trouble, hit him. And he'll deal with anything. He'll fight.
He'll stick
but then if he gets the chance, he'll bury it. But like, as I said, it wasn't easy. My first official game with him was in Shelburne in a Leinster Senior Cup on a Thursday. And got hockeyed. Absolutely.
Did you?
I think it was 4-0, could have been 24-0.
But like, if there was a third tier, if there was a third tier at that time, like you were down.
Oh yeah, down.
You were gone. Like.
And now we never finished bottom. We're always one off it.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, Salt Hill and Merview were always in around us.
Yeah.
But that day I came out and I rang my brother David outside Dalgabark and I said, I'm not coming back here. I said, this is septic. Like I said, there's no way. And I remember Keegan ringing me the next day then and he said, no, look, that was just a trial game and, you know, these lads won't be...
Were you blaming yourself?
Everything. I was like going, you'd be thinking, am I up to it? Like that Shells team, like had Philly Hughes and all were playing and, you know, they weren't down in the first division that long and they had go up for a season and
it was the yo-yo one that the yo-yo Shells
but they were still Shelburne, like, you know, when you're gone the first, and I was 33, so you're going,
that must have been a big doubt in your mind as well, right?
Yeah, madness. You're thinking like, will I be fit enough? Will I be...
Am I flexible enough?
Yeah. And I know lads would say, like, I would think the difference between a really good, like Dean Kelly. Dean Kelly could play in above the first division.
Oh, I think so.
Way above it, right? The only thing is in your head is that consistency.
Yeah.
That you have to go, it's monotonous. You have to go training. You have to go to that game in Ballybuffet on the Friday. You have to go and you have to have that kind of stupid determination.
Yeah.
I don't care what time I'm home at.
Yeah, and you just go. And it's not, especially like that time with Wexford, we started off, our first league game, we bet Waterford 6-0.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, no, there was a lot going on in Waterford that we bet them 6-0. There was lads didn't play on purpose, and like we were playing. I think we were lucky the Kipman didn't play for Waterford that night, you know. So it wasn't a 6-0.
Yeah.
But when you're coming home, geez, we're after beating Waterford. They were favourites. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Didn't go great for the rest of the season, like, you know. But Shane, in fairness to him, had a plan. It wasn't just ad hoc, like, you know. He knew what he was doing.
That was the team he said he had. What did he have?
150
euro the whole back line, and two of them around 75 each.
I wasn't one of the ones. Like we played in the Premier that time with lads that didn't get paid.
Yeah, he said that.
You know, and there's no point lads be saying, myself and Roxy, we drove to games. You know, there was the Kilkenny lads. We would drive to games because it was easier, and it cost you money every week to play it.
Of course, yeah.
You know, there was no lads would say you're getting, like, what would 75 quid get you?
Nothing.
You know, and I got lucky then. Shane, in fairness, he let me train on a Monday, then do my own session on a Wednesday, and then go play Friday.
Right.
Because I told him, I said, if I'm travelling, I'm training Monday, Wednesday, and I'm travelling to play Friday, you won't
Where's
be
the
able.
logic in that?
Yeah, you can't afford it, and my body wouldn't be able for it. And so that's what Shane is brilliant at.
Yeah.
That management. And then he went into Carlow IT and just
reefed them,
picked everyone.
But I'd say like that was, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Moneyball. No,
I did. Yeah,
that's what Shane Keegan done.
Yeah, very.
Like he was. Did you ever see that film Moneyball? No.
I don't think so. No. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
But that's Shane's mind.
Yeah.
Like he's
meticulous.
Oh, meticulous.
Like, unreal. Now he's able to spin you a yarn to get you to sign.
Yeah, but the best of them are.
Yeah, like I went home and told my miss, I said, Jesus, said we're going to get paid to play. She was like, yeah, on you go. Didn't work out that way. But like there would have been, we would have had Eric Malloy.
Yeah.
You know, Clarkey, Shane Clark.
Yeah, Shane well, yeah.
Sheb, Craig Comerford, Graham. Like, so there was a good group. Gavin, obviously, when he came in. There was a good group when he came in, and he got the job by just going down and asking for it.
Yeah.
You know, he
told us
went
how we
to
got
Wallace and, you know, more or less told him. And luckily enough, because I'd say they were going nowhere.
Keegan went to Wexford. He told us this in the live show. Shane went to Wexford and told Wallace, I'll cost you nothing.
Yeah.
And Mick said he'd have the job.
And I mean, lads, what he'd done was, he was brilliant. He brought in Paddy Carey, who's in the Waterford Academy now. Paddy ended up going to Reading. He was an older fella than lads, but he was in the course in the IT as well.
Okay.
And Paddy came in as a coach, and it was a disaster that he went to Reading because his coaching was brilliant. But like we went through a lot of players till he discovered that team in 2013, built into 14 and 15. But for the first 2 or 3 years, it was mind numbing. Like,
but
winning to
But for Wexford to go win that first division, like you're talking miracle level stuff.
Well, we lost our first 2 games.
Yeah,
like Cabinteely came up their first game. I threw one into the net, more or less, trying to drop it in front of your man. Your man scored. We lost 2-0. Then we played Waterford, lost 2-0, and we were just going, we actually thought at the start of the season, because we got to play missed out in the playoffs the year before, and we thought, Jesus, we have a right shot at this. And
bad start.
UCD were excellent. UCD had Gary O'Neill and all were playing with UCD at the time. And the start, you're just going, oh my God. And then we just went on a run. It's probably the best thing to happen, because everyone kind of said, forget about Wexford. There's, Finn Harps. Ollie was managing Finn Harps. Ollie was managing Finn Harps. And he had, like, their budgets compared to ours. Like, Shane's budget included training, to pay for the training and Garlow ID as well. So, like, Shane didn't have a budget.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe what he did with...
He did it with
nothing. Some achievement, isn't it?
Yeah. And to be fair, to convince lads to play and put in the effort they did for nothing. And you wouldn't have, like, we had a couple of us had chances to move, but like I would never have moved. And we did have chances to move. I met Shane would tell you, go and meet. I'd ring him and say, listen, look, Waterford are after ringing me. Go meet him, will you? Go see what the...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you get much approaches while you were in there?
Waterford approached me 3 summers or 3 winters, whatever the off season is, and Bray.
I heard Bohemians were sniffing around as well.
Bohemians, actually, I would have got to know Shane Supple and Darren Kelly at the time. Darren would have been coaching up there. So when I retired, they rang me and asked me would I go in on the bench. They thought I just retired because but I retired, my hip flexor went like. Yeah. But before that they were sniffing, but never an actual, bar that when I was just finished.
Any conversations close to turning you?
No, never. And that was and they'd offer you like money compared to what you were getting in Wexford. It was like...
You weren't on the way that, were you?
No. And it was that bad. I actually drove to Athlone to meet Athlone as well.
Wasn't Roddy Collins?
No, Eddie Wallace, God rest him. He passed away, and met him, and I think Graham was going to sign anyway, and I was leaving. Like Jerry Davis didn't have the neck to say to him, oh look, I'm not going to sign. But I didn't want to offend him by not meeting him.
Just don't answer him.
That's nuts. So you're not responding not from a space of ignorance. You're not responding because you don't upset the man.
Oh, I didn't I went up and met him, drove up to Athlone after work, met him in the car park in a Merc. You think you're meeting him in a fancy have a cup of coffee. I met him in his car. And driving up with no intention of signing. None whatsoever. I just didn't want to not meet him.
Did you ever break up a woman? No.
No, I met my missus when I was 14.
All right.
So,
do you know what it is? If you had a girlfriend before that, she still thinks you're together.
Like, you think, I met one manager.
Where is he? He said he'll be back in a minute.
I met one manager and he brought his wife. And he sent her into the bar. You go in there, I'll be over here having a chat.
What?
I was sitting there going, what? And his assistant manager rang me the night before to tell me, sign, he'll be gone. I'm going to get the job.
What?
Yeah.
What club was that?
That was Waterford.
Right, okay.
But won't name the manager or the assistant, but that's the madness that people don't realise goes on at it. Like, I was sitting in a hotel in Kilkenny and he comes with his wife. I was going, what is going on here?
Yeah, she'll be back in a minute.
It's like, God,
you won't be getting cash, but you're getting.
And the same thing, he rang the assistant manager that rang me the night before and told him after he met me, Graham is 100% signing. And I had never said a word to him. I was like, okay, look, I'll get back to you.
But that was the madness of the League of Ireland, though. Like, I remember looking at, say, 15 years ago, it used to do transfer ins and outs, like every off season. Like, you're talking 60 players, 70 players in the Premier Division alone.
The turnover is unreal.
Clubs, it's the most unloyal league ever.
It's crazy. Now, look, we were looking at the time we were playing under Stephen Kenny. It was like, anytime you played Dundalk, it was like playing Real Madrid. Like, they were, for a League of Ireland team, I thought they were the best I ever played against anyway. And, but like, the league is so much better than people give it credit for. People automatically just put it down, the League of Ireland. But it's a brilliant league to go watch even. Now, the accessibility to it and the League of Ireland TV, and it's unbelievable. Like it's hard. It would be hard to tell a young lad not to chance it. I don't think you should ever do that. But you do get people do.
Yeah.
110%.
Like,
that's selfish though.
Yeah, it is. But
don't need the young lad a chance to do that.
The thing about it is there is a madness around it. You have to have either be like me and just stay in your lane and avoid all concept of
disappointment,
or else you have to have a neck like
Jockey's
bollocks. You have to. It's cutthroat, like, you know, it's serious fucking madness, like.
Yeah.
And back then it was money was, we'll give you this and then we'll give you.
Yeah.
It's like the Wild Wild West.
Which cash was grand till you start losing, and then the cash stops and go, well, you're not getting any more, we're after losing 3 in a row. Like. Yeah. You know, so like it's not.
But see, like you look at, I think it's changed. I think it's moved on from then, right?
Oh, it has,
I think a little bit, definitely.
They've brought a rule.
There's regulations and that there now.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah, there has to be an X amount.
But like back then, there was no regulations to it. No. Like there was none.
None whatsoever. No.
So you look at, and let's focus on say the Premier. So say Shells would have had a great team there in the early 2000s, and it would have been 1 or 2. All of a sudden, 14 would have gone to boats.
Yeah.
Like, and then that just happened all the time.
Yeah.
Until Kenny got his hands on the dock.
Yeah.
I think that's what changed.
Yeah. Like Kenny just, Jesus, like we played him, we got to an EA Cup semi-final, and I think we got about 4-0 up in Dundalk. Like. But we went up and played him, and you had Darrell Horgan was playing, and Cherry was on the goal, and look at all that team, and they were just on Robbie Benson and Shearman O'Donnell. That's an unbelievable team. Like, and I was driving up with 2 lads that were eating chicken fillet rolls, and one lad would put meanies on top of it, and you know, like it is the top level down is crazy.
While Dundalk have arrived 3 hours before kick-off for chicken and rice.
But what I mean about that is when with Keegan then. And in fairness to Seanie O'Shea at Wexford, you would be fed after every training. Yeah. You know, so even though we weren't getting paid, you didn't want for anything. Yeah. You know. That so Keegan done miracles. I have to give him his due. Like. But then the team that he put together was awesome. Yeah, to be fair, like they could score from anywhere, and we didn't concede that much. You know, like I think that season, I don't think we conceded from a set piece. Like,
that's massive.
His organisation was brilliant.
His attention, I always found his attention to detail was absolutely different level.
Yeah, and he wouldn't accept a draw. Like if you were going away, he wouldn't want to draw. He said, Graham, if we draw this one, we might as well lose 2 and win 1. Yeah. You know, we get a point extra. Yeah. You're going, right, yeah, but Jesus Christ, if I can keep 1 clean sheet, I could be happy. Yeah. You know, when we went to the Premier, we were going away to play teams the way we played in the First Division. Yeah. You know, and he was like, look, if we can get 2 wins out of 10, it's better than getting 4 draws out of 10. You're 2 points up. Like,
did you play with Jimmy Dermody?
I played with Jimmy, yeah.
Good player as well, isn't he?
Look, I would have been not disappointed with Shane. I was a bit disappointed for lads when we got promoted. There was a bit of a turnover in lads that had busted their nuts to get us promoted. Right. And they never got a shot at playing in the Premier.
Is that because the gap is big, Graham?
Yeah. Look, there's no point in saying, like, the gap is enormous. Yeah. We were flying till the transfer window. We thought we were flying. We were 3rd or 4th bottom. Next thing, teams around us were just signing lads left, right and centre. Now, and even in saying that, we finished above Longford, like we got relegated in the playoff. Yeah. That was, even that day, like, we won the first leg. Lee Chin was playing for us. But we knew Lee Chin couldn't play in the second leg because GA commitments. He had some, I think it was the All-Star Awards or something. Yeah. But Lee, he was getting woeful grief because he's just not turning up. But that was part of the deal, and he done us a favour. We were injured, and lads injured, and he scored in the first one.
Where did he play? Up front?
He played in midfield. But Lee, I'm telling you, lads, that lad could play anything, I'd say. Yeah. I'd say he could, any sport. He
played balls. Yeah.
I wouldn't get changed in the dressing room with him. I'd have to go to the other side. Because it's like he's made of granite.
And Adonis.
Yeah, it's just like
kryptonite.
Yeah. You know, but the second leg then, we were going up to play Drogheda. It was Drogheda. We were going up to play him away, and we won 2-0. 2-0 up. Just don't get beat. Like. Yeah. And next thing, we were driving up, and next thing, I get a message on the phone, Shane Keegan's going to Galway. I was going, next thing I go up outside the ground, and deal was done, like. Whether it was supposed to get out or we lost the game 3-0, we missed the chance at 2-0 right at the end of the game to not go to extra time, but couldn't give a shit. It was like, what's the point? You know,
because of that news. Did you verify that news in the meantime?
Oh yeah, it was
before the game.
Yeah, everyone knew before the game. Like.
Did he say it?
No, but it came from our club as well. Like, I think Galway put it. I don't think Shane wanted it out, and I definitely didn't begrudge him going.
Of course.
I was delighted he went.
The way it happened.
The way it came out. And he definitely 1,000,000% didn't intend for any of that to come out. But League of Ireland, look, you'd see it in junior soccer, whispers, you know. But we knew before it, and even at half time, and it kind of took.
It's a deflation, isn't it?
Yeah, before the game it was a deflation. And look, we the thing about it was everything went tits up in the summer with Wallace and Wexford anyway.
Yeah.
So even if we had stayed up.
The ground was bought by the FA at the time, right?
Yeah.
Very Carrick was bought at the time by the FA.
Well, they own a percentage of it, I think, or 51%
Yeah.
or whatever. But, yeah, so look, I know we're jumping all over the place,
That's brilliant.
but that killed us that day, you know, and it...
Just shows you how important he was, though.
Oh, massive, because
And the
it
respect
finished.
he had for him.
It finished. Look, I stayed purely because I was chasing a record. There was no other reason for me to stay.
What was the record, Grant?
So the record, I think, was 156 or 58. So I got to 151. And my hip flexor went, and I tried a warm up, and it was either stay on and be
Does that hurt
injured
you?
and just, what?
Does that hurt you?
My hip flexor.
Yeah. No,
finish it?
No, yeah, not getting the record.
At the time it did, but now it was like, Jesus, what difference would it have made, you know?
Still a great achievement, 151.
Yeah, you know, but the team was totally different. The club was totally different when he finished. Damien Locke took over, and Damien had been whipping, and the club asked me, and I said, look, if you were going to try and keep it the same, I would keep him. I said, but he didn't, the lads like Roxy didn't stay.
He brought in Dean at this time.
Yeah, and my routine was gone.
Travel partner was gone.
Everything was gone, and I just.
Did you did the whole season though? Did you?
No, I retired halfway through.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah, my hip flexor went probably in pre-season or again, and you're whoring it out like, and you're not able to work properly. You're not able to train, and I was purely playing just to try and.
Get the record.
And I just kind of said,
you're making yourself worse though, aren't you?
Oh yeah, like I've had the hip jobs done on the hip since. Like,
yeah.
You know, but I was lucky enough. I never really got injuries, really bad injuries, playing, you know. But yeah, like for Keegan, he was so important then that it just... And Wexford, look, it's a different club now.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally different club. They are going well. Oh yeah, look, I've been down, and the killer at Wexford, it's the worst place in the world to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
You would like to think though that the new development in town...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd miss Ferry Carrick, like, because you kind of... And the pitch was brilliant, but it was huge, like.
Quite a big pitch.
We used to say to him, would you not make it smaller?
It's a colossal pitch.
No way would they make it smaller.
No.
Keegan would have... I don't think Keegan would have been minded of being a bit smaller. Certainly the lads in front wouldn't, but no way.
Anybody with pace and ability like that on the ball is licking their lips like
Danny Furlong. Danny was brilliant centre forward, and for him it was just once you got open space in front of him. Eric Malloy, Eric loved it. Eric used to drive me crazy because
any more laid back you fall over.
Yeah, and then position wise, like, you know, Eric would be starting in the 10, but Shane would tell him, or he's starting to right in front three, but Shane would just tell him,
go drift,
go do whatever you want, and next the ball will be played out to the left full, and my mind would become, where the fuck is that? And you look and he's over here, and you're shouting at him, and he's just going, and you're going like, what? You know, but like he had good lads around him, so we were able to have great time for Eric. Like another lad that you just don't get changed beside him because he's
gone to Bray, is he?
Gone to Bray, he hasn't knocked off.
Like he went to Poland, and you know, he went to like
New Zealand.
He won the Oceania Champions League.
Yeah, Eric was brilliant though. Like
very good.
Eric was killer for Eric because he's probably too quiet.
Yeah, a tough time juvenile soccer, you know.
Did he?
Wouldn't have been a starter at Parkville. I think he played a bit with Slaney, but I don't think he played Kennedy Cup. I had him a little bit with FC Carroll 20s, and I was like, this lad, I think he was like 17. He was unbelievable.
The other lad loved, the minute he came in, obviously he knew him from...
Of course.
The minute he came in, he just loved him. And Shane was like that. If he
Shane
liked you, you were... That's why lads would say, I played so many games because he liked me. but that was Shane's, look, his kind of his... I think his best attribute is that he's able to pick a player, but he's able to make the player feel bigger than he is and mad to play for Shane.
I've never seen anyone, Graham, in love so much with football. Not like a fanboy, as in like the coaching side of it, the player side of it, the process of being a player, the process of being a coach. Like, he absolutely loves that. Yeah. Like, more than anyone I ever met.
Yeah.
Like, it's outrageous.
That took a while to get used to him when you go down there, like, you know, because he is meticulous, like, and he has the biggest feet in the world for a little lad, like, and next he'd pawn the boots, and you're going, Jesus
happy feet.
But no, his attention to detail is brilliant. I'd probably be a bit disappointed for him that after Wexford, like, he was doing really well in Cove, and the Dundalk thing, the Galway didn't. I think you have to. I know it's harder for bigger clubs, but you have to persist with Shane. You have to let him go through his process.
Yeah, those things. Yeah,
and he
never got the chance, did he?
No. Not up there. The biggest one I can't understand is how Waterford haven't gone for him. He knows the place. He knows everything. I can never understand why Waterford didn't go.
He was with Clare Oscar Traynors this year.
He was, yeah. Where does he get the time? He's involved with Laois GAA.
He works for Laois GAA.
Yeah.
He knows talk.
Yeah, and he's
live
married.
shows.
I don't know how maybe that's why he's married, happily married. He's around so much.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
He used to get up in the morning and walk 5k on a treadmill and watch Aston Villa's time Mikey's at Aston Villa. What's their reserve 18, 17, 16 games every morning.
Yeah. No, he is brilliant, and he was brilliant for underage in Kilkenny. And I don't think he's appreciated in Kilkenny for the underage stuff he done. And I wouldn't say he's massively appreciating Carlow for the FC Carlow, because they're always like, FC Carlow is kind of an outside Carlow thing. Yeah. But I don't mean appreciate, but for Carlow players, the likes of Craig Comfort and all, they'd only benefit from Graham. They'd only benefit from being around him, like Clarkey.
Well, I think the lads that were around him understood him and understood how much of a positive effect they were on him.
Yeah.
I think there's another job in him, isn't there?
I'd love to see him get.
Just lads, he's wrapped up in the GA there now.
Yeah,
I know, but it could be a big move for him.
Like, I think the Cove thing was going really well for him, and just logistically and all, and with the job, and where it just didn't work out. But there's definitely a job in him. Like, the thing with him is, though, you have to give him that time, which is a hard process. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do now. But like, if Waterford got relegated, he's the first.
He's a project guy, like.
Yeah, he's the lad I'd be on the phone to straight away. Yeah, because he would structure everything. Like, he's brilliant.
Maybe they're listening.
Is that your proudest moment from your playing days, winning that first division?
No, strange. Like, it's a really proud moment. But like, the stuff I won with the three brothers, but the two, Sean and David, would be
couldn't measure it. No,
and there is something about winning something with your own that is a bit special. Like,
sure, it's memory, isn't it?
Yeah, like, even
memories over medals, as Mick Garrigan said.
Yeah, you can win 100 medals, but if you're not with someone that you care about, because you're family. Like, you know, no, I'd I was really proud of that. Like, it's a brilliant achievement and all, and I was delighted. Like, I 3 nephews were in that squad. Like, yeah, you know, and that is really. But and that one with the lads, whether it was a league or a shield, you know, and like that was.
Sean with you in Wexford?
Sean came to Wexford. Yeah, I thought that, Shane at the time, he needed someone just to bounce something off. That wouldn't, when he bounced it wouldn't come back saying, "Oh yeah, Shane, that's okay." And Sean was great at that. Like, when the two lads worked together, David would do all the training, physical training, the running, the games, and Sean would walk out every now and then and go, "Just we'll move that there and do that there in games." And next thing there'd be a little thing done, and next thing you're 2-0 up, and Sean would sit down then, and you're going, you know, he is brilliant at that. In fairness to him, like, he sees things that I don't know. Look, I don't see him anyway. Yeah. And David would tell you, like, the two of them worked brilliant together. So Keegan and him, that's what I think. Not that he needed it, but it helped him. Because when you get a lot of young coaches in, especially at League of Ireland, they had a habit of.
It's textbook, isn't it?
Yeah, everything is overbook and in a triangle, and you know.
Yeah, but when Shane speaks, it's you're right.
Yeah,
you're
yes,
right.
Yeah.
Or someone like Sean will go,
whereas Sean,
you're not right.
Sean would be sitting there, you know. And Sean was delighted when we got to the Premier because he got to go to the Brandywell, and Like, that was probably...
He's a proper soccer fan too, though,
Yeah,
isn't he?
that's the one place me and him that day going up, it's the one ground and I'm
Is that the
delighted
one
it was
for
the
you, is
old
it?
Brandywell. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't like you got tugged out in Porta Cabins, you're
Sure, it's a
walking
relic.
across, but my God.
Dog-
all the other
dog-
places were brilliant,
That's just a memory, though.
but the Brandywell...
Dog
yeah.
track on around it.
Yeah, and I was walking, and a hill on it,
Yeah,
and you're going, what?
We were there with Academy, weren't
I
we?
was. We were
Yeah.
there. We were there one
Yeah.
Good Friday.
On, like...
Wasn't the best
Oh
day,
man,
was it?
it was unbelievable, the atmosphere. It was like stepping back in time. We had
Yeah.
27 Dacker and Peter Harvey, big Scottish, Peter CK.
Yeah.
We were walking back to a bus. 119 skinheads followed us up. I said, "What's this? This is England 1980 or something. What's going on here?" But in the crowd that night, there was flares and everything because the time of year it was.
Yeah.
And a steward came up to say, "Stop doing flares, lads." 3 boys just grabbed him, pulled him into the crowd, took off his jacket, took off his top, and fucking down the steps.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it's
What
feral.
a place, though.
Oh,
yeah.
unbelievable.
What a
That was
place.
unbelievable.
No, we got... As we did that, we got bet, like, as we did, but...
Sleeping giant as well. I thought they would have go over the line the last couple of years.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of money gone in there as well.
Big
you
money,
know,
yeah.
they're under serious pressure there now, like, you know. But like even losing the Waterford there, like that's not,
Yeah, Waterford need the window.
yeah, badly. But and it's great for this region because Waterford is so close,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just down the motorway.
yeah.
It's
Like the
all
games
reliable
are-
with Porrick
yeah.
as well, you know.
Like talk about like longevity, like,
Yeah.
and it's not like we were down a good few times last year. It's not like he's just going through the motions. Like he's running like
Busy.
the whole time. And you're looking kind of going, how old is he? And you're on the phone and go, fuck me, how is he? He's chasing, he's
He's in
harrying.
some nick.
He's coaching the young lads through the game,
Yeah.
you know. And then he gets a chance, like
Did you see his header a few weeks ago?
like, I don't know.
Nuts.
But what a player, like.
Yeah.
You know,
Super
what,
player. Top
what a
player.
lad to have around, like.
But this part of the southeast, like if CK get a third tier, like you have CK, you have Wexford, you have Waterford. Like we're spoilt.
Yeah. Whether I'd love to see, not from because I'm doing a bit of coaching, I'd love to see him get it. I don't know whether the Carlow Kilkenny thing works. I don't know whether that's I just think it's
Do you
I
think?
don't know.
Do you think it doesn't work?
I don't think there's a proper identity.
How
He'll
do you
probably
create
get killed for
identity?
it.
Because of no grounds.
Oh,
yeah,
there's
but then
yeah.
it's a 2-county thing
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
You know?
But do you not think that?
Like I don't know whether people in Carlow fully accept it. I don't know whether people in Kilkenny
No, I
fully
wouldn't
accept
say,
it. You know, as a
There would be, I think there would be a bit of a not
No,
begrudgery
there's
from one county to another.
reservations.
Yeah.
There's definitely
Yeah.
reservations,
Like
and I know how it's not really mixing them with the academies, and they're going back at 14s, and Kennedy Cup squads are losing them, and
Yeah.
players wise, and then it's they're taking that, and it's kind of a bit of animosity. But I don't think they could go separately either.
No, but I wonder whether it could be just a different name in the region.
Yeah,
Like whether
but they did that though, didn't they? Because it was Carlow Kilkenny. It's not Carlow Kilkenny anymore.
well, it's CK.
Yeah.
Still there.
What do you call it?
I don't
Optimus
know.
Prime FC.
I don't know. And whatever, there must be something from years ago that links the two counties back in history. There's Ormonds and whoever.
Yeah.
There has to be something
Yeah.
that
Someone
you
will
can,
come up with someone.
yeah, there has to be something. But I do think there is that.
CK doesn't work the name, the
Yeah,
tag.
the bounce between the two. It's like, what are we? Are we?
But how does that affect? Like
It's
how
a
does?
tribalism thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
It is, yeah.
It is.
Like
It's
the name
a-
shouldn't affect their progress,
No,
or shouldn't affect someone's judgment on them.
yeah, but
It does, clearly, like.
It does. Like there is and the stuff with the academies and all like that happened in Wexford, and people hated Mick Wallace for years, like
Yeah.
because you know you're taking the better players. I don't know how you automatically like the boys asked me on the podcast in Kilkenny about Greg when he got and I automatically went no, because you automatically think. Damien Raggett asked me last week or the week before,
Heard it.
did I think the Carlow League was better? And I straight away said
No.
no. But then as I was sitting there, I was thinking and going, oh, no, you're right. Like, if you take Evergreen out of it, the Carlow League is stronger.
Yeah.
You know, it is. But my automatic thing was no.
Yeah.
Because you're a Kilkenny man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if Carlow years ago, the league wasn't as strong and
Yeah.
someone asked you that question, he would go, no, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But if you know, so there is that
Yeah.
tribalism. And that's what,
Absolutely. But should we all have that?
but I wouldn't
It's
like
a great
to see.
factor to bring up though in regards to that. Like it is, never heard that approach to it before.
You know, there is that just, whereas if it was like if that was Laois FC
Yeah.
and we were going to watch it, it wouldn't bother you as much. It's not a mix between two counties, and it's not.
Yeah, but
it's League of Ireland soccer, and it's only
I hear you.
10 minutes down the road.
But Graham, it's a wonder how tribalism comes into it when the majority of players actually probably aren't going to be or currently from Carlow or Kilkenny.
Yeah,
you know, like there's a lot of lads from Tip.
There's
a lot of lads.
But what are they saying then? Like it's Carlow, Kilkenny, or whoever it's called. CK United. Why is there no Carlow lads on it? They're saying.
Yeah, that's what.
Why is there no Kilkenny lads on it? Why is it called CK United? There's no lads from
and that's what killed Kilkenny City at the end. There was all Dublin lads.
Yeah,
why is it Kilkenny City? There's no. So look, I'll probably get killed when I go training Monday night now. He'll be saying to me, what are you saying? But I do think, because if it needs to be successful, they do need a tie to the area where people actually go, I'm not going to Waterford, I'm going to go out and watch wherever we call them, in Buckley or in Collection or wherever it is. You know, whereas if it is, and you naturally have that, lads, like you'll always back a Carlow team over a Kilkenny team. You know, and vice versa.
It's just a natural thing to do,
just because you're ingrained in it for so long.
But that's the whole island mentality as well. Like, you know, the different tribes and the provinces and all that crack. You're going to fight for your own, regardless of how good or how bad you think they are.
I would like to see it. I would like it just to be there on your doorstep where you're not having to travel.
Yeah.
Just a different name.
Yeah, and you can just go out and watch it. And
I used to go watch Kilkenny City.
You know, yeah. And the thing is, you'll see it when you get in, and if you're playing, you're going watching it.
It'd be brilliant for the area.
Yeah, and if there's 2 lads from Carlow on it, or 2 from Kilkenny, and there's 4 from the area.
Yeah.
They're not all, or they're from Laois, or they're from Justin Wicklow, or, you know, Tipperary, whatever. They're close. That's
But they are going to get that. I think they will get that third tier, because looking at who's gone for it, a lot of them are kind of...
and the academy thing is obvious. You'd imagine it's going to help.
the backup and things like that. But where I think that will benefit Carlow Kilkenny is when a player is progressing and they have to go somewhere else, at least they've had the year or 2 years or 3 years at that level. And then from a monetary view, if they are going to these well-established League of Ireland clubs, hey, you want them, pay for them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden then...
Yeah. Now, whether this yoke works...
redesigned or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was involved with FC Carlow around the A division time, and it was a fantastic division. Yeah. But the gap was colossal.
Huge, yeah.
Like, massive.
And it still will be. There's no... Like, you're looking at Wexford... Stephen Elliott is managing them. Like, you know, you're looking at the bottom team. Kerry are putting, well, not bottom now, but Kerry are putting serious money into it. Yeah. Cove has serious money gone into it.
Yeah,
and you're talking of CK, St Michael's. These are all kind of
Cockhills from Donegal,
and run about range it now. So you'll have like a 2-tier.
Yeah, so there's going to be regionalised, like that. You know, like the 20s used to be. I don't remember the old 20s division was regionalised like that, but. I think it's a great move. I think, and I had this conversation with your brother actually, and Damien when we were here, I think they should be taking the UK model and it should be pyramid the whole way. So if you take a Freebooters or Norwalk, an Evergreen, a Hanover, whoever, if they want to progress, it's there for them.
Yeah.
You know,
that is the plan though, is it?
I presume so. But your man's resigning there a couple of weeks ago or last week.
I think that's the best thing ever.
I
can't handle, I didn't like your man Rude Doctor. Don't like your man Mark. They're not in. They're not here. They're not in it. They're not. Like, I know it sounds like I'm preaching them up here or whatever, but the likes of Keegan and all that are in the game, that have been in it for so long. They're the likes of lads that, not saying he should get the director's job or any of this, but there has to be someone in Irish soccer that's embedded in it.
Will Clark. Fucking Joyce. I'd give it to Will Clark.
You know, like, I know they're Kenny. I know he's managing.
It's hard to believe that someone of Keegan's intelligence and intensity and his knowledge of soccer, that he's not involved in soccer.
But the GA aren't blind.
No.
He was doing those courses when he was managing us, going off doing go off on a weekend and he'd do a GA course, and you know, like,
he's tuned in, isn't he?
He's tuned in. He knows.
But it's all to do, and I think it'll be more released in that resignation for your man.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be drip fed now, as in why he actually went. Because people are saying, he clearly knows he lost the whole calendar season thing. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, the calendar season thing, that's another where you like.
Did you see the poll we had a few weeks ago? There was a question asked, wasn't there? Do you think a calendar season will affect? Yeah. There was 3 different options. I can't remember them, but it was 86% said yes. Yeah, it will affect.
Like, it's hard to now. Look, I know you come from a soccer side. You'd be kind of like, look, you have to disassociate yourself from the GA and you have to stand your own now. Yeah. But the pool of players is not big enough.
It's impossible.
No.
How would you?
I would have been pro calendar until I probably had a good think about it and said to myself, it's an impossible task.
Yeah. GA is all year round now anyway.
But you know where it's an impossible task from? An elite level. A top level. Forget about the juvenile academies and all that crack. At the very, very top level, if you want to be the very best, you need the best players. Yeah. And your best players are inter-counties best players. And you should be giving them equal opportunity to play both sports at the highest level, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, look, again, that's another societal thing because, like, Henry Shefflin played against us up till, I think he was under 16 before he...
I remember him being on the bench for Southend when we were in the Premier.
Yeah, and he didn't do too bad.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, there's not a... Yeah, look, we're really going into... We want psychologists.
But you could talk about there. It's nearly an episode on its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really brilliant. Is. I'm sweating over that conversation. Come here and tell you, I wanted to ask you this, right? The modern goalkeeper, are they been signed on the fact that they're better with their feet than they are with their hands nowadays?
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that? Like?
Look at United. Look at Onana. He was purely signed because he had a half-decent Champions League campaign with the ball at his feet with Inter Milan. That's what he was signed for. Like, the brother David is a Man United fan.
So am I.
Not saying I know everything, but the minute he signed, I said to David, he is not a good goalkeeper.
No.
You're getting rid of De Gea, who, look, made a couple of errors, but...
I think it's their biggest mistake, getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Look how good he's done with Fiorentina.
And Onana is not Ederson or...
No.
Now, look, that comes... There's not fads, but...
Trends.
Yeah,
football trends.
Like Ederson and... Alisson is decent. Alisson is not Ederson's. But what the problem is, people are trying to bring that down to junior soccer where you're playing on a pitch that's not Anfield or it's not a carpet, and they're knocking a ball back and the keeper's expected to play 3 passes, and but the goalkeeper now is relying on the ball coming back to him good, but he's also relying on his 2 centre halves splitting, and
fullbacks go high, whatever.
The professionals are doing this 100 times a day, every week. Look, it is part of the game now because you have to play with the ball at your feet. And as I said, when I started schoolboys, you could pick up a back pass, you could throw it, you could spend 20 minutes throwing the ball back to the keeper and, knocking it back to him. And it's great they got rid of it, but it's something that, look, Neville Southall says it best, the goalkeeper's job is to keep the ball out of net. Yeah. And if he was good, he'd be out the field. So take kick-outs, play your simple passes, but then it's, like, if you look at Liverpool, Alisson plays with the ball a lot less than he did under Klopp.
Okay.
Everything is in a 6-yard box. It's Van Dijk and Kanata start everything.
And he's had less mistakes.
Yeah. Because
I would agree with you that Alisson wouldn't be...
Yeah,
he's the best one-on-one in the world, I'd say.
Brilliant goalkeeper.
But with the ball at his feet, Ederson would school him every day. And
every day of the week.
There's a lot of goalkeepers as well.
Yeah.
Martinez and Villa would be the very same.
Yeah. Like...
Goalkeeping-wise,
keep the ball out.
He's brilliant in a one-on-one.
That's something that's, I think, and I probably Liverpool always say, that's something that's a lot changed. Like Van Dijk is the most passes in the Premier League now, this year. And they're not all just little left and right passes. Like,
He's breaking lines. Like,
yeah, like look at even Pickford. They're trying to make Pickford into Ederson. And he's not. Because he's England's number one and they're trying to... Exactly.
He's useless. I hate that lad.
But that's what they're trying to do to him. Like if you go back to when he was with Sunderland, he was someone that you would have signed. You would have said...
Solid, 7 out of 10, good pair of hands.
Goalkeeper. Yeah. Now they're trying to turn him into things they're not like.
He's England's number one.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of them must be going home.
Who else is there? Butland or not? Butland's
no, you're gone. Like,
your man who's going for Newcastle.
Nick Pope.
Pope is terrible.
You look at Butland, or not, but what do you call him? From Everton? Pickford. You wouldn't say stands that.
Kills Pope is poor with the ball at his feet as well. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah.
But he's a goalkeeper.
It's their weakest position, I think.
Neville Southall does a brilliant thing on it, and it's any goalkeeper is worth watching it. Like he said if he was playing, Pickford would never have got a game under Howard Kendall. Never. No. He said Ederson is okay Alisson is decent, there's not another goalkeeper. And I love, like, for a Liverpool supporter, Neville Southall was.
Gavin's hero, that is.
Yeah. You know, but what did he do? He just kept the ball out of net.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone, and it's a killer for junior soccer.
It is.
You'll see it, you've seen it obviously this year.
Absolutely.
You see it in games that the ball has come back in the goal. You can see the white in their eyes going, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big centre forward running in at me.
But we've
going,
noticed, Graham, we've gone from a guy, we spoke on last week, Craig Doyle, who was unbelievable, just as good with his feet as with his hands, to a guy, Jamie Wall, who doesn't want the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
I don't know. My job is to catch this and block this and stop this, and he's brave as a lion. And you know what it is? I nearly lean towards that.
Yeah. It's a way for coaches now have to find a way of trying to play the football they want, but like realistically, you're limiting the goalkeeper. Well, in my opinion, you're limiting what the goalkeeper has to do with the ball at his feet. As in, it's different, the ball played through, or he has loads of time, he can get his head up and find a fullback, or he goes longer. But this stuff of taking goal kicks in a 6-yard box and playing 3 passes in the 18-yard box before it.
It's crazy.
You know, like if you have Van Dijk and all, brilliant.
But like you said, they're doing 100 times a day.
A day. Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, but you know what winds me up? This how much I fucking hate coaches. There's even a thing of where you're putting the ball in the 6-yard box now. Let's put it in the middle.
Yeah.
So they don't know which side we're going to play out on.
Yeah.
And lads, fuck off.
You only have to look at the two centre halves.
Kick it out and let's play, lads, please.
One of the centre halves is sweating, going, Jesus, don't give it to me.
Yeah, pretending it.
You know, I want it, but I don't want it.
Yeah, he's facing his goal. He doesn't want to open his body.
The opposite team is going,
oh yeah,
give it to Canate.
let him have
give it to Van Dijk.
No, but also, you go to a certain pitch and you try and put the ball in the middle of the 6-yard box and it's just dirt.
But this is what's happening.
You know, there's no grass, there's no, like...
Yeah.
But again, look, that's all. Everyone tried to be Pep Guardiola's midfield for a couple of years there. And, you know, it is a hard thing to do. Brian Holden from Evergreen always had that philosophy that you play in their half.
Yeah.
It's in our half, we're solid. Get the ball in their half, do what you want.
I have no problem with getting the ball down and playing out. Absolutely not.
No.
But I always say, why are we doing this? So I look at some teams now, and I'm asking, what is their why? The keeper's given to the centre half, he's given to the right full, centre half, left side centre half, left full. You've made 6 passes, you haven't moved more than 20 yards. Why are you doing it? So when I'm coaching, it's like, right, get the ball into the fullback, shift them over, skip a centre half into him, and he can step out all of a sudden, we're 25 yards on the pitch. Let's play from there. That's the difference. Oh, it is.
Well, look, from a goalkeeping point of view, you're trying to limit chances for the whole game. So don't make it easy for them to get a chance. You know, like the biggest tool for a goalkeeper or young goalkeepers is their mouth. Like if they can organise their back four properly, there's less chances created. Your game is easier. If they can get control of their back four, and it's really their 2 centre halves because they'll control the fullbacks.
Yeah.
If you get control of your 2 centre halves and you can shift them left and right and limit them little through balls, goalkeeping is easy. It's when your centre half thinks he takes off on one. That's it. Yeah.
But you know what's funny? You know what's very funny, like, and you look at it, if a centre half gets it and hits a diag 60 yards and it's a peach, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The problem is, well, not the problem, but
like we've just solved. It's like we've just cured hunger here.
Yeah, but
Bing.
That's the thing. Like, but it seems to be the wrong thing to do now. Go from back to front quick. And
you can't be a
get
diag,
the ball
man.
up in their box, and you know.
Yeah, you just can't beat a diag.
No,
just only can beat.
The problem with junior soccer can be too is you're not hitting, like you're hitting probably one out. It's like golf. You know, if you have a bit of an.
Do you know about him in golf, Graham?
I saw him on the telly.
Did you?
Yeah.
Crime Line. He's on once a month, is it? What's he done? The Curious Case of Poppa
The tone in your voice.
Yeah, look, it's yeah, but the diag is like that golf swing.
Yeah.
When it works, it's brilliant, and you hear that ping, but sometimes you get the jibs.
You do,
It goes off left and right.
Sometimes only give the word.
No.
Don't mention that word to me. What word? No, not saying it. Not saying it. No. What is it? No, not saying it. No.
We have a few rapid fire questions for you, right?
Okay.
You're the first one I think we've done this with. Is he, Pop? I don't think we've done this with anyone else. Have we?
Guinea pig.
Yeah.
Guinea pig.
One lad to do it with.
David set you up.
Before we get into them, I want to ask you something. Just come into my mind there. Are you happier in football now, in the position you're in as a coach and retired, and you can speak about past, or were you happier when you were playing? This isn't rapid fire.
That's a
Deep.
Yeah.
That just came into my mind.
Fucking
No,
wouldn't
do you know
ask him
something? I'm happier now than I was 6 months ago, which is a weird thing. Because obviously I got involved in the podcast and I'm doing goalkeeping coaching more often now than I had been. When I finished that ill-fated stint with Booters manager, I went back playing with Canices. They set back up a team. Couldn't walk or, didn't enjoy it. So I went away from everything. So I wasn't involved at all. I didn't even really go watch matches. And now I'm doing a bit of goalkeeping. So I'm probably happier now than I was for a couple of years.
But everyone needs a separation, though, Graham, I think.
But you can't be playing. You can't be playing.
Would you agree, Pop?
There's no...
But you would have had that little separation period as well, right, when you finished with Hanover manager?
Yeah, well, then COVID came and all that crack, so I just stopped. But no, playing. Give me playing over coaching.
No, not the one I do in Kilkenny, and I only went on as a stopgap because David hurt his back.
You're like the Beatles now, lad, the 4E.
Yeah, if there was 4 Stooges. That's us. But I enjoy that. I actually enjoy that, and so I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't be playing.
Do you know what? The more, like, I used to remember people saying, the coach is a lot better than playing. And, like, the more you speak to people now who are just fret like yourself, who weren't out of retirement that long, are like, no, lads, get a jersey on the back and play.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, what did you say to me in relation to if I can still go, I'm going to play?
Sure, yeah.
Even 35
I played
like
a couple of 35 games this year, so I was like, loved it. I was
like if I was
again
able...
tomorrow night, you can't wait.
If I was able to play, I'd play.
Don't be sore after games now, don't get me wrong. It'd be like sitting in a fridge for 2 days.
What kills me, you'll get lads now that like are 34 and they're kind of going,
I know.
It's getting a bit hard and all.
Yeah.
No.
Play for as long as you can.
Play for as long as you can.
Don't worry about the age.
And you do get sore, but you get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
You get over it. Like
if that's stopping you.
Yeah, because once you're finished,
you're finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few pounds get harder to get off. Hard to get the motivation to get off and go.
Don't drink, can't eat that cake.
Can't eat that third burger.
Yeah.
Okay, rapid fire. Best teammate you ever had?
Wow.
Who did he play for?
The best player the player I most enjoyed playing with, you probably wouldn't have heard of him, is Rash Hayes. He's a local player in Kilkenny. Okay. And again, it's my madness. I always thought when we were playing with Booters, when Rash was playing, he can look after the ball.
Centre half?
No, centre midfield.
Okay.
So someone, of all the players I played with, my best teammate ever is probably Michael Falsey.
Okay.
Loved, great friend.
He is spoken about on your podcast every week.
Michael was a no-nonsense centre half. Like this stuff now of playing across the 6-yard box. Just, I'm here to defend, and that's...
I work with his cousin, Michael Falsey.
Mm. Michael is an absolute... Like, if he's in your club...
What a man.
Like, yeah, they'd be there. And I know, look, I played with lads and all, and everyone's... But the best teammate would be Falsey, but the person I was most comfortable playing with would be Rash Hayes, yeah.
Funniest moment you experienced on the pitch?
God... It's a few, but there's one. This is terrible. I can't remember his name now. But we were playing with Wexford, and he was on the bench. It's actually on YouTube. And there's a ball cleared, and he's going to try and take it down, and he crashes into the away team's dugout. And you have to see it because he thinks he's. I can't think. It's of his
actually
name.
on YouTube.
And it's on YouTube, and he was in the Carlow IT as well. Oh, but you have to see it.
Is he defender?
He's defender.
It's not Manning,
no. Jesus. Oh. Shane Keegan now would tell you in a heartbeat. But you can see him, he's in his bib and his Wexford jacket, and he's so sure he's going to control it, and the next thing, whack straight into the dugout. Yeah, so that, we've had a few weird ones. Like,
go on, give me another one.
Which are like we often went playing with lads and they're eating meanies with chicken fillets. I told you that. Like that's
Go to the League of Hurling,
yeah. We went playing. I was at an Oscar Traynor. The first Oscar Traynor we won was they used to do it as a weekend, so it was in Mayo.
Oh right, yeah.
So the semi-finals were on a Saturday and the final was on a Sunday. So there was us, Limerick, AUL and someone else. So we arrived in the hotel and the Friday night, and the AUL were all in there in their flip-flops and real setup was just, So we were playing, I can't think of the 4 team. They won the semi-final this Saturday. And Jim McAvoy was the manager. He said, "Now look, lads, you can have a pint or two." And so next thing you know, there was a ruction at 3 o'clock in the morning. 2 of the lads were at a wedding. And one lad had got a slap off a lad with a plaster of Paris, and he was driven across the dance floor. Another one, they had to get the mother and father to come down and take him out, get him out of the bar. And they won the final the next day. So
my God.
They did him. But that was, I won't mention their names. But
yeah.
That
was Limerick.
That was
crashed the wedding the night before Oscar Traynors
and
final.
One lad sang Christy Moore right on at the wedding, and that's where the trouble started over. He got up with the band to sing. So that's Jackie Mull, by the way. And was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, was an animal of a soccer player. But look, different times though.
Yeah.
Sure, they were the best days.
Brilliant.
They were the best days.
Toughest ground to play at?
Junior wise.
Toughest ground to play at?
Junior wise, for me personally, I would say East End, which is Bennettsbridge.
The slant.
Yeah. Pitch wasn't great, but the team they had when we were going really well were brilliant.
Right.
They won a few shields.
They won a few shields. They were tough, solid.
Johnny Maddock is over them.
Yeah.
Keen Maddock's father.
Was he?
Yeah.
Everything was set pieces. Yeah, the Dowlands, Brian Lannon,
Good goalies, well, didn't they?
Yeah, they had Enda Clear.
Yeah, very good.
That was junior. That was probably the toughest. Any one in the Premier and League of Ireland was tough. But junior, that was probably, we didn't mind playing anyone at home.
Toughest first division one, Finn Harps.
Toughest first division was Finn Harps, just because of the journey, and
it's a relic as well, isn't it?
It's a relic, and back
you
then,
to Spain quicker, wouldn't you?
We would leave Kilkenny at 10 o'clock Friday morning, and at 4 again we'd get home. Yeah, and Ollie Horgan, it's like he was growing them on trees because they were coming out and they were all big men, apart from your man McHugh up front.
Yeah.
But probably that because everything. And you had no showers. You'd turn on the shower and it was like not even a dribble.
Yeah.
And there was a drain.
It's like a toilet. Pistons, though, it was.
Drain out of the toilet coming out, overflow into the showers.
Yeah.
In the corner of the shower.
Yeah.
So you'd have no shower or nothing coming home.
Smelly feet.
After getting bare.
I think you have verucas and everything.
Yeah.
I think they have developed it though.
When we were there, they're actually trying to build a ground beside it.
All right.
Yeah. Now, brilliant lads. But
Savage community. But Savage football community, they're massive.
Unbelievable.
But it is an absolute
nightmare of a place.
I walked in and I was expecting Indiana Jones to run through a stone chest or something. Go away. It's like stepping back in time.
And when you come out of it, everywhere's closed.
Yeah.
So food after and all, there's no food. If you're lucky, you'll run across, there's a centre across the road, you get back at a Mars bar or something.
Meanies. Chicken fillet roll. Meanies
for your chicken fillet roll.
Gloves or boots?
Gloves.
Brand?
Yeah, Cells at the time. I was seismic when I was playing, which were brilliant. Any local lads, he's Irish up in Sligo, brilliant quality. But when I was young lad, Cells. Ben Foster.
Cells. Who wore them when you were there?
But Ben Foster's involved in them, but Nigel Martin, all the keepers, they came out, like Nigel Martin would have wore them, and unbelievable. And they were all white. This coloured
red,
black
green.
and red, white gloves, white palms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Did you ever use finger save?
The first ones that came out, the green ones, I wore them in that Castle Dermot in that semi-final. Never again. They came in a box.
Tron.
Because it was like you were, I don't know what you...
Restricted, like.
Yeah, I don't know how you describe it.
You didn't feel natural, sir?
No, they're obviously better now, but them ones you could only get that. You couldn't close your fist with it, like.
I think Gav said the same about them, didn't he?
He didn't. He wasn't a fan of them.
And of course, Shea Given was wearing them at the time. The big green ones.
Yeah.
They were horrible. Really, like.
But they probably were a bad design. Like, they probably actually wouldn't save your finger.
No, well, you see, at the time, it was one big solid. Yeah. So it was the 4 fingers and this big kind of solid piece on your palm. Now it's all just, and you can take them out.
Okay.
So if you have a dodgy finger, you can leave that one in and you can take the others out. Like, but back then it was like a brick. They came in a lovely cardboard box and all that.
That makes them all the better. Anything comes in a cardboard box, nice. Especially a pizza. If you could give one piece of advice, or a spice box, if you could give one piece of advice to young goalkeepers today, what would it be?
Train.
Be more specific for me.
Consistency. Work on the simple things over and over and over and over again. The fundamentals.
You can never get good enough at them, can you?
Because everything is based off them. So like if you get your set position right and your handling and your footwork, and the footwork can be as easy as 3 cones and going in and out through them and over them. If you look at any save in the world that's made, it's your man is moving his feet and springing off. Everything is on your footwork and your hands. Your feet don't get you there, your hands will never get there.
If your feet don't get you there, your hands will never get there.
Yeah. If you work on the fundamentals, it's...
Come and spell it.
I'm going to write that down.
But it is like if you can get a young goalkeeper if you get him at 10 or 11 until he's 14, he's just doing the basic, simple things. Massive for him.
That's an advertisement for it.
There's one F and F, isn't there? That's
brilliant.
Is that your own quote?
I just said it there.
It is now.
No, is it? Is it like?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I never thought of it.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it's true. Like if your feet don't move, your hands, you can do that all you want. You'll never get there.
Ampifi Studios on that quote. No, Graham. Can you not use that anywhere else, please?
35% will do it. I won't go overboard.
Just get him a chicken filler all meanies on it, lads. Call it quits.
I was going to say, do you subscribe to it? Did you ever hear about the thing where you do something 10,000 times?
Yeah, I would with the goalkeeping.
That's what
because that's what it is.
That's where it fits, doesn't it, in the game?
It's. I know it sounds weird. It's a totally different position. It's a different animal. Like it's everything is based off those basic fundamentals. If you can move your feet and you have good posture, good set position, solid base, everything is backwards with young lads now. If you can keep your weight forward and every attack saves. Never like it's only a reaction save where you're going backwards. Everything else should be going forwards.
Like I used to
it makes sense. Like
I used to watch Gavin's sessions at times. Say if we were coaching the academy and they were on a break, I'd watch Gavin. I used to love when he used to like describe about catching a ball. Like if you're catching a ball here, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, or is like it's going to slip.
Yeah.
It's just even getting behind it, and you can see the difference in the goalie straight away.
But it comes
it's
from,
almost
like you
instant.
said, your feet. If your feet match your hand, if your hands is here and your feet is over there, you're in trouble. It's get one in line with the other.
Right on, bud.
If you look at all the goalkeepers, I look at Alice and everyone say, but he never makes it easy for the centre forward. So he gets there quick before the centre forward gets his head up. He's there.
Yeah.
He's big. This habit now is this big. Everyone will jump on this big spread save.
Yeah.
Schmeichel was brilliant at it.
Yeah.
But Schmeichel's was always a reaction. Now this is becoming the norm. Get out.
Yeah.
Lads are coaching this 5 points and they're telling them 0.1, 0.2, That's a nonsense. In my head, that's a nonsense. If your feet and you're out and your position is right, you get there, your body is blocking it. That's a natural thing to do anyway. But having it in lads' heads that I have to be set.
Yeah.
If you get those fundamentals, you're good, like Gavin, your good set position, your good handling, your footwork right, a good goalkeeper, they're naturally a goalkeeper anyway.
Yeah.
So the dives and all look after themselves. But it's like you're saying, if there's a shot there, if your body is behind it, if anything slips through, it hits it, you pick it up.
Yeah.
But if you're like this,
forget about it.
It's a position in the field, though. To have a good goalkeeper in your team is absolutely priceless.
Like you'll know from Pats, and it's not saying the other goalkeepers weren't good, but you don't win leagues without a good goalkeeper.
No, I don't. 100%.
There's no other way around it.
You don't.
If you haven't got a centre forward that can score 30 goals, you might get one because you're 2 wingers, set pieces. You can win games, but you'll never win a league over 20 games or however many games without a good goalkeeper.
But if you roll it right back to what we're talking about, the description of a good goalkeeper now isn't that accurate to a team winning the league. Like, so a description of a good goalkeeper now is, he has to be able to kick it 60 yards to a fullback's feet. And I'm saying, no, a good goalkeeper keeps the ball over the goal.
Anyone
keeps it over the goal.
Looks at this, if they just look up Neville Southall in the last 2 weeks.
I seen it. He was with Carragher, wasn't he? It's the fan forum.
No, it's an Everton one because he goes a lot for Everton. Like Gavin would love it. But he basically says it like it's your job in the goal is keep that ball out of net. And Jerry Smith, that time his thing was like I could be training with Ireland and be unbelievable. And we go 1-0 down at half time. Your man in the second half mightn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
But he keeps a clean sheet. All he remembers is the 0.
Yeah.
That's all manager wants. If you have a 0, it doesn't matter if you keep it out with your head.
Yeah.
No one remembers it.
Yeah.
It's a 0.
And it's because of them shutouts that he's the best.
Yeah. That's the...
Do you know?
Yeah. It's
basic though, isn't it?
It's not rocket science.
It's not science rocket.
No.
Poppa, do you have for him?
No, sure, look, it's obviously the TV speaks for itself. An absolute gentleman. And
did you ever come across him on the pitch?
I don't know. I don't know whether I played against him or not. I don't know.
He's not that old, or I'm not that old.
I think you're similar vintage.
We would have played Hanover once.
I know Sean. I know your brother Sean very well.
We played him in one of the Leinsters in the pitch up at the school. You used to look up onto it. You know, if you're at the roundabouts out.
Praise.
Yeah. We would have played.
That was Harps, I'd say, not Hanover Harps. They played up there.
All right,
Yeah.
I presume that's me.
Do your research, Graham.
They were another great crowd. Yeah, another great crowd.
I was more concentrating on my gloves.
They were another great crowd.
What do you mean about grey crowd?
It was great crowd.
Great or grey?
Grey Cullen.
Oh,
Yeah.
were they?
Pat Timmins says Greg Cullen, Greg Ballycannon, Greg Despido, Greg Namana. Yeah, but they are.
Oh, mama. I'm going to go over the fixtures. Poppa. Thursday
There's not
this
so
week.
many, is there?
No, Kilree versus Byrne.
Oh, that's
in the semi-final of the quarter-final of the Premier. 35s are back this Friday. Bunclody versus Bagnallstown. Newark versus Crear Division 1. Slaney versus Carnew. St. Felix versus St. Pat's in Division 2. That's a great start for both them sides. And yeah, we have Burn Celtic versus Moon Celtic, St. Joseph's versus Parkville in the Division 3. 3 Division 35s is brilliant, isn't it?
Huge.
How is it not a thing in Kilkenny, Graham?
I don't understand it.
Highview was there, right?
Yeah.
No, but like, how have Kilkenny not got?
I don't know how
yeah,
Freebooters don't have it. Evergreen tried it.
Evergreen had it.
Yeah. And I don't know whether
We played. They finished second us last year.
Yeah.
But they had limited players at the start.
It amazes me not more of them are in the car because it's so, even with the motorway, it was so close, like.
Yeah.
You know. And
especially your genuine bit of soccer is great.
that's what I mean. I think lads kind of think it's too, it's going to be too competitive, like. But
Yeah.
you know, it might get there when the legs get working again. But
yeah, I know. It's
it's a pity now. Yeah.
Like you play as long as you can for. You'd say you wouldn't win.
Do you find the AstroTurfs hard at that?
Love playing on it, but I
Killed
pick
after
a
it.
grass pitch, but sore after.
Yeah.
You are sure grass?
Yeah.
Oh, grass.
Grass,
Tell us a story about the Oscar Traynor final I didn't know about. And Astro.
So we played the Leinster Senior League, and our Astros were on.
Many years ago was that? No, it's a long time ago, right?
Oh, it's a long time ago. There was no Astros in Kilkenny.
Yeah.
So we went up. We didn't know it was on Astro. It's in the Oscar Traynor Road.
Astro was a chocolate bar from Cadbury at the time. It wasn't rich.
And the Astro pitch, we got there and the game was on the Astro pitch, and there's a lovely grass pitch. I had to get my sister to get me a pair of AstroTurf runners on the way up. She was only coming up to watch it. And one lad, Robbie Ryan, played with East End. He had to come off at half time, the blisters. So we never trained on it, never.
Didn't know anything
about
I had
it.
similar experience playing with the Carlo Oscar Traynor team, the tallest. We were playing on grass up there on a Friday night or something like that, and we went up. It was on the Astro, and I think it was Flynn, or it could have been Paul McCarthy, Lord of Mercy on him, wore the 6 stud World Cup boots. Oh my God, I want to see his feet after that.
And I think Robbie Ryan had to wear studs.
He was like, he struggled to walk onto the bus now.
Now there was a couple of
I'm
lads.
not messing, he struggled to walk onto the bus.
A couple of lads from Kilkenny didn't want to play it, like.
You shouldn't have played it though.
Shouldn't have played it in hindsight, but we were like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're here's the final. We're good enough to, and we lost. We lost 2-1. Not. Can't say it's because of the pitch.
Didn't cost you the game.
No, but
it was
was
Oscar Traynor at the time. The AUL, the UCL, the LSL. They were all top class.
Brilliant.
They fell off the cliff, haven't they?
Yeah, massively.
CCL, the Midlands League.
No, but I mean the Dublin ones, Podge, when they won.
The Leinster Senior League has killed them.
Yeah.
They're taking everyone in.
Yeah.
Sure, I think United Churches and they will have amalgamated, have they?
They have, because, and there's all this talk now of changing Leinster Junior Cups and all. And that's because the Dublin teams are not doing well.
110%.
That's all it is.
I heard that argument the other day as
yeah.
well, by the way.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
Leinster Junior Cup final. Waiting on the winners of
Carlo and Newark.
Carlo
and
Tallow, right? Carlo's team is favourite.
Yeah.
North End is in the FEI Junior Cup final.
Yeah. And
After beating
hard to
Salt Hill
see
Devons.
Massive
hard to
win
see
weekend.
him being beaten.
So,
yeah.
you know,
and
they're not dominating.
no, and that's the
Dublin
problem.
teams, yeah.
That's the problem. But the Oscar Traynor is a big problem. Like,
How would you fix it, Graham?
well, we used to we used to have trials. When I started on that, we had to go to trial games.
The trade of this year didn't work.
First time I ever went out, there was trials, and but I do think there should be more of an incentive for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now there was big money back then when you won it. The leagues got money. You know, and it was a really big thing when it was. Look, to young lads, it was as close to international football as.
Of course, it was.
You're representing your county. This was huge, and I don't know why it died off. A lot of it to do was at the time the tip leagues wouldn't play in it.
Yeah,
and they were huge leagues, obviously with Michaels and Clonmel and all. The AUL same as they fell off a cliff, so they weren't doing well, so we're not playing in it. You know, COVID didn't help.
Yeah.
But it was dying before COVID.
It was. It was definitely on the down.
I do think the way it started with us, the weekend finish to it and all would be a big thing.
Ideal.
So it was a festival of soccer, wasn't it?
We were up in this big 5-star hotel in Mayo. We were going up, we never saw the like of it. Like, you know.
Never had time in the bedroom, like.
Yeah, unbelievable. Like, but they need to do something like that because I think it's a brilliant competition.
Brilliant competition.
I think they are trying to revive it. Is David have an interview with a guy
He did,
there?
yeah, you remember from Leinster, and they are trying to revive it, but I didn't like it the way it was done this year, that there was so many.
I think it's ridiculous.
You lose and you were in and you were still in it and you're.
Yeah.
You could lose.
I think Kilkenny lost 3 games and got to
the semi-final.
Lost 2.
Or 2 games, yeah.
You know, that's why I did. Lost 3. Sure, Wexford bet them, we bet them, and Wexford bet them again.
Yeah.
That's not good enough, though.
No, it's not good enough.
But that's not. That's down to
It must have been hard on. It must have been hard on the Kilkenny players.
Yeah.
Going back again, going,
Yeah.
You know, or even Carlo or Wexford playing him again, going off. How are we playing him again?
Well, that's what. Like, I got involved in it this year with Poppa, and look, I'd always do it. If you're asked to do it, I'd always do it. But I just felt like that there was no.
I'd get rid of the groups.
Yeah, there's no zip. I do open draw.
I would do open draw and knockout.
Yeah, 110%.
Till it got. And
have it on the weekend.
Yeah,
this midweek thing is
this
pointless.
midweek. Now it was never a midweek thing in Kilkenny. To be fair,
Yeah.
It was always. If you have 2 representatives or more, the open played in it. If you have 2 teams from your club in the Oscar Traynor, your club is off in the weekend.
2
players. From your club.
Right.
That was fair.
Yeah,
but you can't expect you to play an Oscar Traynor game on a Saturday.
Yeah,
and you want to say your best midfielder, obviously, and you're going.
Yeah.
Play again no Sunday morning where you're playing a derby game against someone. Like, no.
It was always off in Kilkenny now, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
it used to be as well. It used to be. I think that adds the prestige of it. If it's a weekend game, so you're getting lads together, you're kitting them out, you're getting them on a bus, and you're going down somewhere to play. It's open draw and knockout. Like
if it was open draw and they wanted to make it, I don't know whether that'd work for the first couple of rounds, 2 legs or 2 legs from the quarterfinals on or something.
Yeah,
but something needs to be.
Oh, for sure.
Changed.
Do you know what? And whether you drink or not, it doesn't make a difference. After every game, I met so many friends in Carlo soccer over playing with the Oscar Traynors. Go for a pint afterwards. Like, and if you're playing in Tullow, should we go up to the Tower Arms? You wouldn't be in the Tower Arms in 10 years. But you go to the Tower Arms because that's where you're going.
Yeah. No, it's a brilliant, and
the trophy is savage.
The trophy is savage, but you get to know lads that are not in your club that you generally wouldn't get to know.
Yeah.
And you know them for years.
Yeah.
For years. You'd meet lads now
friends for life,
you're talking back about, remember that we played up in wherever.
Yeah.
In Dublin, or we played, like Stephen Gretton missed out on the county team for at that time.
Yeah.
He was playing with Kilkenny and he played an Oscar Traynor game, and that was,
Was it?
Yeah. He's a very good soccer player too.
But very good. But sir, even this year with us, like we played Wexford bet us, we played Kilkenny and got the result there, and then we played a team, the Defence Forces, who after getting absolutely shag-of-iron in the previous games, and we were just catfished.
Yeah.
I guess, what's going on here, Poppa?
Well, he said it to me. He said, "This
it's
clientele walking in here.
No,
they didn't get
the team that Kilkenny
that's wrong.
Played, team that turned up for Kilkenny. Sean was out with me, and he was gone. He doesn't play.
Yeah. Well, that's wrong.
No, there should be a squad named.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that destroys the prestige of the whole thing.
Yeah, it does.
It ruins it.
It is a because you're looking at that is our All Ireland.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's your county team.
Yeah.
So they do need to.
Yeah.
I think
Graham,
they do need badly down.
I beefed it up with me about the way it was played down, and they asked me questions, and I said I don't agree with it. I said I'm not getting at anybody from Kilkenny.
Yeah.
I'm not getting at anybody from Carlo. But I said how an Oscar Traynor final is in the outside pitch, Dermot's Park in Kilkenny. I said it's not good enough.
No,
you're disrespecting Kilkenny and Carlo.
Yeah.
I said the Leinster Junior Cup final was in the Aviva.
Yeah.
The FA Junior Cup final could have been somewhere at Tallaght Stadium or somewhere, wherever it was. I said that's not good enough. It's an all-Ireland competition.
It was. It's like now we won one in Dermot, so. Yeah. But even at that, like
you lost one as well.
Lost one. I wasn't there though. But even at that, having a final home and away, that doesn't make any sense to me in that, because that should be a
neutral venue.
There's loads of League of Ireland grounds. Play that low one.
Yeah. Make it a showcase.
Daily
Make
Mount.
it a showcase.
Make it a showcase for the players.
Halfway between the two counties, League of Ireland ground.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Easy
But
fix.
I would love to see him.
So
back.
would I. I love it. Even if I wasn't involved in it, I'd go watch it. I'd never miss a game unless I wasn't.
Yeah, it's.
I wasn't around.
A brilliant tournament.
Brilliant.
Breaking news. Just got a text message. Mark Timmins is talked out for St. Pat's 35's training there tonight. What do you have to say about that, Pop? What's your first reaction to that?
Sure, what?
All right, fair enough.
I knew it had to be something with St. Pat's anyway.
Wow. Would you hear Mr. Hanover, do you? Paddy sent in that clip there.
Is this of...
Is he in the goal or is he out the field?
Oh no, he sent in thing about Paddy. You may come in and explain this. What have you? Oh, you sent in the Sohal thing.
Oh.
Okay. No, sorry. I would 110% categorically think that the first job to get the Oscar Traynor back to where it is, slap the prestige back on it. And the only direction I can see them going is it's a knockout competition.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't got the volumes to run groups, don't run groups.
The groups
like
are
a Leinster competition shouldn't be based on 4 teams in a group.
Yeah.
That's not a Leinster competition.
And you know what it is, though, Graham? Simple things like that is let's get a representative from Carlow, Kilkenny, all the clubs in it, and meet with the Leinster Senior League. And go,
yeah.
Here, listen to the coach's point of view.
Yeah. Why
they don't do that?
No, even I wasn't overly impressed with the Leinster final.
Yeah.
You know, this was.
But
I know they're trying to bring something in.
It didn't feel like just,
But you probably knew going into it what was going to happen.
Yeah. So, but I don't now. Look, I don't know about Carlow, but same thing. It died a death in Kilkenny. Lads just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Well, it was kind of resurrected only 2 years ago, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah. Sure.
I would be of the mind now if you're selected for Carlow and you don't play, or selected for Kilkenny you don't play, that you're suspended for a game or two.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to, without, obviously lads, work, things, family life stuff.
Yeah.
Valid reasons, there's always valid reasons. But some lads just say, well, we'll have a weekend off if I don't go play. You know, I do think it's a big thing to represent your county.
Yeah, the downside of the midweek game is big clubs are playing a Leinster quarter final on a Saturday.
Yeah, they're not going to release a player.
That's more important to them sometimes than their county.
Yeah,
so
whereas if it is the weekend off,
it takes that fixture over it.
Yeah,
that's why the weekend. That's why it has to be weekends, and it has to be especially for the Premier sides to get the blanket call off.
Yeah.
unless, say, the Premier side hasn't got representation, you can play a Carlow Cup game. Or
now, I know people that say, oh, where do you fit it in? But it was always fitted in.
Yeah. It was never an issue before.
Never an issue before.
Well, I had to say about Carlow, that side of the house, I think it's Brian O'Reilly runs it. Is it Brian? Brian does fixtures,
like,
isn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, no, a lot. And why he's unbelievable, Graham? He's fair. He's fair, like.
Yeah.
And come this time of the year, I love it. Because he's a game on a Tuesday, he's a game on a Wednesday, he's a game on Friday. And games are played and they're ran, like. You know, it's that. So I think, from that side of the house, I think there shouldn't be a problem analytically anyway to do it. But look, sure, even the second game us against Kilkenny, sure, remember Kilkenny weren't going to turn up to the game. Remember we went down training Monday and they weren't up to the game, and then you said, no, we're not giving them a walkover, we're going to play them. Yeah.
But that's a madness, isn't it?
It's mental, like.
They couldn't play on,
and it's so close to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no wonder CK won't work.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
Where are we? We're in Division 3, Burn Celtic versus Moon. I think I said that, Joseph versus Parkville. Big one Saturday, Poppa, up in Tala, 12 o'clock. You going up to it?
Is it 12 o'clock kick-off?
That's what it says here anyway.
I think I will, yeah. Is that 12 o'clock, yeah?
What do you think? What are you thinking? What are you hoping?
Well, sure, I don't know. I heard who was playing the last one? Lucan, was it? Lucan had 13 yellows and 4 reds.
Yeah, I think Lucan were half favourites, weren't they?
Half favourites going in. No, they did everything bar score.
Yeah.
But you hear them stories as well. No. I think New York have gone and watched these boys play as well, and I think they're quietly confident.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been honest, I'd love to see New York win, and I'd be really interested in New York Evergreen final. It'd be brilliant for this area.
Be great from podcast perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It would be a brilliant game though.
We'll get the 4 down here.
Yeah.
I do think they match up really well.
Yeah.
To have serious, like big Dino and Drennan on
brilliant.
Like,
and
who's going to win it?
Like your man at centre half for Evergreen is Little Annie is. But I heard the New York lad came back from Australia.
No, they got a lad from Kildare was in America.
He's supposed to be decent, is he?
Very good.
Yeah, so like there's loads of
centre half.
There's loads of little.
But watching him play against Pats, he was decent. Yeah,
I would love to see it as a final.
But you know what I think, or why I think it'd be good? Both teams are going to play.
Oh yeah, like
there's no one going to sit off here. There's no going to be low block.
I know we were saying about Evergreen in the last round now, but the teams are literally just sitting in and trying to.
Of course they are.
And I think that not the semi-final, the quarter-final, the Dublin team were the same. They had 2 lads sent off, 1 in injury time, but multiple yellow cards. And,
yeah.
You know, they're just trying to stop you. Like
you walk of attributes that hurt Evergreen and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, so well, let's hope they get through.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. We'll definitely come on hand that final if they get through, won't we?
Oh, we will, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Bucket pad.
Another day with you. Thank God.
We'll get you the visas in Kilkenny.
I work down there. My office is based in Kilkenny, so I'm allowed down there, so I am.
At the weekends?
I work weekends, FXA versus Dalmanay in the semi-final of the Division 1 Cup. Last week, the rumours were Dalman were finished and that. I'm delighted to see they're not.
Oh, no.
And I hope they continue to go because I reckon they are going to be a really, really, really strong club. And they will get into that Premier eventually. I think it'll be hard to get over it. In the Ladies Carlow Cup, this is a final. Mill Celtic versus Vale Wanderers. They are all on Saturday, Pop. Do we have that on the Sunday? We have Village versus Ballymurphy in the... I'm terrible at this, aren't I? In the 35s. And then Sunday is Mill Celtic versus St. Pat's in the other semi-final of that Division 1 Cup.
Lovely.
Lads, first of all, Graham, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Brilliant, Jeff.
Delighted to have you on. And,
great stories.
It was easier than I thought.
Yeah, no, it's flies. We're only here for 3.5 hours. It goes really quick.
It took me an hour and a half to find it.
Yeah.
The boys fly from Spain home is longer.
You got here anyway.
Or shorter.
I will continue to listen to you every week. I think the 4 of you are brilliant down there. I have to say, just get Johnny on now. We have the 4 of you on at some stage or another.
You'll have to sit Johnny outside.
Yeah. That jersey we gave you, make sure you wear that in the podcast.
Oh, I will.
It's going to annoy Ragged because he had to pay for his one. You got yours for nothing.
Expect a message on Ragged.
I'm going to take a picture before I go.
Yeah. Thanks to Ampifi, Paddy and James. Thanks so much, lads. Obviously, thanks to the listeners. Without your support, Poppa.
Brilliant, yeah. So look, it's the numbers.
No
wise.
real negativity. It's
numbers wise, brilliant every week. So
it's a brilliant podcast. Really is. Even and
listen, I know I got a jersey for free.
And I loved David Ford one. I thought was just
it's epic, yeah,
unbelievable. I liked all the others, leaving Gavin's ones back in the. But the David Ford one was
great character,
brilliant,
character.
Some goalie as well, wasn't he?
Oh, unbelievable! The stuff he was talking about. I know we're with the 50 for 50 and brilliant,
50,
brilliant.
50.
Yeah, no.
But the mindset, like go and find like the whatever, you know, the mentor and the man putting his hands on his chest and telling them you've a story to tell. Like, it's just fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, but what a career he had.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, my God. Yeah.
Martin O'Neill telling me you played 20 times. Played 33, was it? 31 or something?
Huge.
It was delayed with one cap.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill, you'll get 20. Yeah. He ended up getting 31 or 33.
No, he was excellent when he was there, to be fair to him.
Brilliant, yeah. Brilliant. That purple goalkeeper jersey stands out, doesn't it?
Just
reminds you of him. That's
the size of him, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man, class.
Yeah, my God.
The size of his hands.
Love the soap max too, doesn't he? It
was like shaking a baseball glove, so it was.
3 postman's hands.
Yeah. Go away over that. Oh, soft hands beside me.
You're a keyboard
warrior
beside me.
Yeah, soft hands. I forgot what I was going to say. Welcome to episode 54. No, look, as always, lads, thanks so much for support. It's something we can't measure, and we genuinely appreciate it. If you want any questions or any queries or anything like that, contact Poppa. He'd be glad to take them in. And as always, that's not my podcast.
Not my podcast.
It's Carlo Soccer's podcast. It's your podcast. Good luck and God bless.
Brilliant. Pleasure.
Oh, let's just roasting.
That's full time on this episode of the How Is He podcast. Available on all podcasting platforms. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter/X. Proudly sponsored by Curra Sports. For more information, contact Shane@currasports.com or check out their website, currasports.com.